You got it. Stand by for Titanfall.
AI offline. Pilot mode engaged.
What's up, everyone? I'm GKB, the Governor, and your host of the sexiest damn podcast, Tuesday nights, The Console Corner. On last week's show, we had a ton to talk about with Gamescom, so much so we had to rush the show last week, and I apologize for that, but it was still a great show, so please go check it out. On this week's show, we're going to be talking about the PS4 Slim leaked, the Mafia 3, Titanfall 2 tech test, and so much more. I'm really excited to talk about the topics tonight, and I hope you are too. Please, everyone, make sure you're subscribed and following everyone so you can stay up to date with whatever we're doing, and also please hit that like button. We really appreciate it. Alright, but first we're going to go ahead and introduce our great panel of epic gamers for this week's show, starting off with our special guest this week, someone new to the Console Corner, has his own YouTube channel, Mr. Nukem.
Yo gamers, what's up? Nukem here. I give this show a perfect Nukem explosion, but I don't have the sound effects, so you'll have to wait for the sequel. Anyway, hailing from Alberta, Canada, coming in, gonna weigh in on the topics tonight. Love games, glad to be here. Got to give a shout out to the panel here for inviting me on. These guys are pretty brave, they know what they're doing, and I do have to say, they throw down a mean community night, Saturday night. You gotta be there. If not, you're missing out.
That's the best you're gonna get. I'm sorry.
Awesome. Next up, we have a gamer who I rock out with on the Shop podcast, Mr. Predator H2O.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me. I have a new logo that you can't see right now. I got yelled at by SheWolf earlier, but she designed a new logo for me, so I'll be debuting that after the podcast today.
Sweet.
So thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. All right, now on to our regulars of the Console Corner. First up, you know him, BrewtalKnight.
What's up, everybody? Ready to get the show started? Let's keep it moving, though, because we don't want to offend anybody by having our intros too long.
Wow. Let's just throw it out there.
Next up, we have Lady Fox Fire.
My fucking tomatoes!
That was great. That was great.
There you go.
Then we have Mr. AsthMattic.
Woo! Console Corner is always on that hype train, ready to rock and roll.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Next, we have the First Lady of Xbox, SheWolf. Oh, wow. Drum roll. Woo. Oh,
Because
snazzy.
we have a little bit of big news. Well, I'm just going to quickly throw it out there. We have an awesome, amazing interview coming up this Saturday with the developers from the new indie game Hue. So make sure you come and check that out. We will be posting details on Twitter. So I just wanted to let everyone know it is amazing and excited.
Ooh, jealousy to the max.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good times. Good times. All right, so everyone in the chat and on Twitter, and hell, I don't even care if you're in the center of the earth. Please get us your questions so we can answer them at the end of the show. You know how we do. We like to answer your questions and interact with you guys. So get us those questions.
All the mole people, you know they got
That's how we do.
I want to know who your
how we do.
ISP is if you live in the center of the earth, because that's awesome.
Yeah. For real. I heard it's really
Good
nice
morning,
there.
Australia. Just wanted to say that.
All right, so we really appreciate all our videos submissions that we get for the epic clip on the show. The community response for the clip is fantastic. We really appreciate it, guys. We're gonna go ahead and play this week's winner. It's Mr. K-Manian. I'm butchering the crap out of your name.
Canadian. You.
You live in a world of
You
gamer
know who he
tags. It
is.
don't make sense.
Let's call him Special K.
Yeah. He does some awesome kill feed here on Titanfall 2. Let's go ahead and play that.
I called him Mr. C throughout the painful matches. 'Cause I kept killing him.
Oh, she said she'd be killing you, bro.
That stand for I see you on my crosshairs and you did.
But hey, at least you won, buddy.
This was a
Very
friggin'
proud of
awesome
you.
kill.
It was insane. And the funny part is, he actually submitted a different one, but accidentally deleted it.
Oh, really?
So we couldn't pull it, and had to go with his secondary one.
He finished it off there. So awesome!
Still
Congratulations!
awesome, yeah.
Congratulations to you. You are our clip of the week.
I fucking killed that one.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you guys go ahead and send us your clip so you can be featured on the show. We really appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into my favorite topic of the show, and that's what the games we played this last week. So what's everyone been playing? Let's go ahead and start with our special guests. Newf, what you been playing?
Well, I've got to say I'm late to the show, but I've been trying to play the Witcher 3. Got to say that game is pretty dope. Been trying to get into that. I meddled around with the Titanfall 2 tech demo, I guess you want to say, over the weekend. Not too bad, but I'm sure we'll weigh in on that later on today. Outside of that, it's just kind of been a bit of everything, really. So lots to play right now.
Awesome. What about you, Predator? What you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Madden, man. I picked that up today. Got my second Xbox One S with the Madden bundle, but I was playing it in the preview as well. And then I played Titanfall 2. I tried to wear that game out as much as I possibly could over the last couple of days for the tech demo. So that's about it.
Nice. What about you, Fox? What you been playing?
Oh, well, surprisingly enough, I'm gonna start off with the best, which is last night we played Gears of War 3. Now, for the hell of it, Tim brought it up. He was like, hey, let's play Gears 3. I was like, okay, so we played Horde mode, so that was awesome, and I streamed that on Twitch. So video will be coming to YouTube very soon. But besides that, obviously, Titanfall 2 beta, and Uno, and Rainbow Six.
Some Uno?
Forgot about Uno.
Uno's out?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn.
Yes.
Stealth launched it.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
What about you, Brutal? What you been playing, man?
Picked up a couple indies this week. One of which is Turn On that we're going to be talking about today on Indie Discussion. I spent some time playing the Paragon beta for PC, which looks absolutely gorgeous. It's a steep learning curve though, so I'm probably going to be putting a little more time into that to try to learn the meta of that game, because it seems pretty deep, like most MOBAs are. But that's about it. Just those two, really. I've spent most of my time playing Paragon.
Nice, man. Nice. All right, what about you, AsthMattic?
I also played like an hour of the Titanfall 2 tech demo. We will get into that a little bit later, so be sure to stay tuned. Streamed some Battlefield 4 Thursday night. Started early, ended late. It was a good 7 hours of just destruction. Turbo awesome as always. And this morning, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Jacksepticeye, playing some No Man's Sky. I said, man, this space exploration is pretty sweet. And so I immediately did what any well-rounded gamer will do when you want to play a space exploration game, and I loaded up Elite Dangerous and played a little bit of that. So that was a great day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What about you, SheWolf?
I have been playing a new indie game called Hue, which is absolutely amazing. Playing Titanfall 2, of course. Oh, jeez. I've played a few different games. I've been catching up on gamer score and stuff like that. So, I was gonna try the new Lawbreaker and Paragon game on PC, but because I got beta codes for those, but I haven't really jumped into those yet. But
Let me get that
about it.
Lawbreaker beta code.
No,
Y'all got any
no.
of them beta codes?
She's like, no way.
Actually, I think I have two. I'll look. I think they sent me one and then one for a friend. So
Lawbreakers looks fantastic. I really want to try that
Cliffy
game
B.
out. So, yeah.
Cool.
it looks interesting. Like I said, I just got a random email saying they sent me beta codes, so I'm like, okay.
That's what happens when you want that social elite life.
Awesome. For me, I've been playing Hue as well. I've been playing. What was that? What was it? Qbot or something? SheWolf. That other indie game I was playing.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, Qbot. It's like
Qbot.
C-U-B-O-T. Qbot.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of squares puzzle game. It's a lot of fun actually. I enjoyed it. The puzzles are freaking hard, especially when you get later on to try and figure them out in a certain amount of moves. Been playing Darksiders. Been streaming that on the Beam. Speaking of Beam, we are simultaneously casting on YouTube and Beam. We got tons of viewers on each, so thank you very much. We really appreciate it, everyone. And I'm going to be playing Deus Ex tonight for sure because that just came out and I want to play it.
Ooh.
Right?
Gotta see that.
Right. All right, so that's awesome. Let's go ahead and get into our first segment of the night, the gaming news. Take it away, SheWolf.
Alright, so starting off the news, one of the most talked about indie games has been announced that it has been canceled indefinitely. What game am I talking about? Well, none other than Below, a really hyped game that a lot of gamers have been excited for and were waiting to see. What are your thoughts, everybody, on the delay indefinitely of Below?
Oh, I got scared for a second there because you said canceled, and I'm like, wait, I thought it was delayed.
Yeah, I thought it was.
What's going on?
Okay, come on. Delayed indefinitely?
I mean,
well,
pun.
Yeah, that's not a
You
good
know,
sign.
that kind of does say canceled.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But I know how you said it was most talked about indie. Well, that's because this has been, on the, I guess, waiting line forever, and that's probably why you feel like we've been waiting for this, and it's been talked about a lot. And I think it got delayed before, but I think at the time they actually had a date compared to now that they don't have another date. But yeah, wasn't this game talked about like back in 2013 or something?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
same with like Cuphead and like Below. We've been just constantly waiting for these indies. Like, where the hell are they?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't know. I'm not even interested in this game anymore. Actually, I'm still interested in Cuphead though. But Below, I don't know about that.
Yeah, for me, I think this is freaking absolute bullshit. I've been waiting for Below. I just love the way it looked. I love the gameplay of it. I love the premise of it, and it's just like freaking gigantic. They ran into issues or whatever the hell happened.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but I wish Microsoft would light a fire under their asses and get this game out because I think it's utterly ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, this is starting to become a trend with some of these indies. Like, they announce them so far out in advance, and then we never see them. And it builds up so much hype for them. And when they finally don't show up or something happens to them, you kind of tend to just forget about them. Like, what was the other game? Mighty Nine. When that finally came out, it was like, I know you liked it, GKB, but like, it lost the steam that it had going forward had it just come out when it was supposed to.
That game got delayed a lot too.
Yeah.
Mighty Number 9, which I still enjoyed Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, I
but a
love
lot of
Mighty
people
Number 9.
But
the difference
everyone's
here is
talking though like it could still come out. When I hear delayed indefinitely, that kind of sounds canceled to me.
well, no, that's what I was saying.
Like,
It's much like
from the-
gigantic too. Like they said like that was canceled or delayed indefinitely as well too. But then they found some backing, and then it's kind of in limbo right now. And I feel the
actually,
same
we
thing is
just
going to be
got-
like. Good.
We actually just got codes for that game. Like more beta codes for that game. It went back into beta again.
Well, I mean that's good, but I don't want it in beta. I want it to freaking come
Well,
out.
yeah. But with
that's
that
my
point,
problem.
yeah, you definitely make a really good point about, there has been some that have been in that same, situation, but still got to come out of it and, still not fully released yet, but, at least given that second chance.
Well, like Cappy's website, like I mean, a lot of people are praising Cappy too. Like, granted, there's a lot of people pissed that they delayed the game, quote unquote, indefinitely or whatever. But Cappy's website, like, I don't know if they're like blowing smoke up everyone's ass or whatnot, but a lot of people are praising them for just go ahead and saying like, all right, guys, we're going dark right now. Like, to me, delayed indefinitely means they don't know how much time they need to work on it, but it's not necessarily canceled. Granted, nobody that's looking forward to a game wants to hear it's been delayed indefinitely. But at the same time, like, if it takes them a little bit longer to put out a good quality game, I'm not mad at that. Like, some of the best games I've played this year were indies. Like Hyper Light Drifter, Inside was really good. Not comparing it to Limbo, but just Inside as a game itself was good. So I'm not mad that they're delaying it if the game's still coming out because it looks really fun and they did a really good job of making the scope of that game look massive, right?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, though, and the game is still meant to come out, then why put the word indefinitely on there? You know what I mean? You could just say the game is delayed. and
I
then
think
you
they
never
can't
give a
tell
date.
you when, because since they had something like that, then they're like, well, it's been delayed. If you're going to say like, okay, it was going to come out in November, but now it's been delayed, and it's like, okay, like to February, to March, like to July, like when?
I
And it
think
definitely
that
just means they don't have that date yet.
Yeah, I think that I think they don't want people thinking the game's like, I think they're trying to go silent, right? They said they're going dark until they they said the next announcement you're going to hear from them means that the game is ready for release, and that they have a set firm release date. So I think that it's just more so, all right, guys, don't freak out that we're not answering anybody, but we're putting our heads down and we're going to get this game right for you guys.
Yeah, but this goes back to like what they were, what we always said, like with E3 and all this kind of stuff. Stop showing us games if you don't know when the hell they're coming out. If it's going to get delayed and all this stuff, show it when it's ready. Show it when it's going to come out. That's the problem. I mean, that's why we get like frustrated, because they show us these games like back in 2013 and now it's like 2016, and where the hell are the games?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like Fable Legends. Like, look at that one. That one was supposed to be, released, and there was so much hype around it, and then it was just completely gone, and now it's just gone forever. Like,
Yeah.
Hey man, I know I grew up in the 90s, and the only way I could see any info about a new game was buying the latest copy of EGM, so I had to wait another month before I could see a picture or even get any details. Now we live in this digital age where there's shit every day, and it's just crazy. And sometimes too, I don't know if people ever realize this, but we often don't treat developers like regular people, in the sense that these are actual jobs. And sometimes just like a regular job, people quit, people back out, and I can only imagine how difficult it must be when you're designing a game, especially as an indie developer where your team is not big, and so you have 2 or 3 people that quit, or they get sick, or they have to take maternity leave or something like that, and all of a sudden there you go, like there's your timeline out the window. And I don't think we ever realize that sometimes plays a factor in some of these release dates. You think?
I think that definitely plays a factor. But with that being said, I think there's a lot of points to be made at another. We have another segment coming up, possibly on this show, that I think a lot of this conversation could feed into as well, with the discussion of the end of press conferences that we may discuss. So
we'll get to that point. Yeah.
I think a lot of this might feed into the same conversation, because there's a lot of points to be made about that.
Cool.
I guess in my Spitbits voice, can we safely say that this indie game is below expectation?
I love it.
My god. And with that being said, that actually makes a perfect segue into our next news topic, and that is the console generation has been known for its release of remasters. But, one developer company in particular, EA, had said that they were they were more looking ahead into new projects instead of dipping back into the catalog of their remasters. But now there's so many heavy hints coming out that Mass Effect could actually become a remaster, and I'm sure Jamie Moran is like jumping off the walls, he's probably like climbing the roof, and he's freaking out because he's a huge Mass Effect fan. And this is another one that's being added to all of these remasters that we have coming, and I want to know what you guys think about the remasters of this generation.
I think for most of them, it's like a cash grab. And what I was really excited about EA is that they did make a stance and saying, hey, we're not going to remaster anything. And now they haven't officially said anything, but they've made it a strong point that, hey, they're definitely looking into, maybe a Mass Effect remaster. Now, this could be like some marketing thing with, the new Mass Effect coming out. Who knows? But I still would have liked them to have stuck to their guns and just give us the new Mass Effect and not worry about these remasters anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you, GKB. I mean, I'd rather just have a new Mass Effect. They barely showed us anything at E3 about, the new Mass Effect. So, and now they want to talk about a remaster. I mean, if they really wanted to get some steam for this, I understand back compat is only available on Xbox One, but they could have easily just put this on back compat and save themselves the work they're going to put into making this a remaster.
But do you think it's possible, though, that the whole remaster thing, they're more leaning towards it, not for the money aspect, like a lot of these companies are, but actually more towards the fact that the fans have actually been demanding this remaster? Like, they have really been pushing
So they're like
for
pressured or something?
Yeah, like, maybe they're actually just trying to cater more to the fans.
Yeah, but I mean, I get that. I get that, SheWolf, but at the same time, like, why don't they just say, you know what? We hear you guys, that's awesome, but what we're wanting to do is give you a new game with new characters, new worlds to da-da-da. So there's always a way to say something. Like, I don't think you have to, like, succumb to pressure and being like, oh man, well, let's just give you remasters.
But they also work on a lot of games too, though, so if they're just trying to, like, give this one to the fans because, you know, maybe it's actually a little more simpler than what people, you know, maybe make it out to be, and you know, so maybe they're just trying to throw it out there for those fans and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean they're not working on new things.
Here's a question for you too then. So say they're doing Mass Effect for the fans because they're getting pressure for that. Now, what if they start remastering, like, I don't know, old Maddens that people thought were really good and stuff like that? Are you going to be on board with that stuff?
Bro, they do that every year. It's called the next Madden.
Yeah, I'm just using that as an example. Like, would that be okay with you is kind of what I was...
Do you think that, I think that EA saw, like, I mean, look at the server active player jump that Black Ops got when it remastered, right? That shit jumped off the fucking charts like the next day that it came out. I don't know if it's I think they're saying, one, the utility of doing a remaster, especially if they launch it before the newest Mass Effect comes out, because that's going to put it back on people's radar. And two, like SheWolf said, people have been demanding this game forever. And I think it's partially a company's responsibility to cater to their fans. And I always say, like, they're a business, number one, but at the same time, there is some sense of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a sense of responsibility, I guess, to provide to your fans what they're demanding or what they want. And if there's a large enough demand, like, why not? Like, remasters aren't as big of a project as a new IP. And, like, what else is aside from Star Wars and the new Mass Effect? Like, what is EA really, like, working on? You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
they're working on a lot of Star Wars games.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on Star Wars and that, but I mean, their general moneymakers are fairly reproductive as far as the Maddens and, like, all your sports titles. Like, those are EA's big sellers. So, like, why not accentuate and kind of highlight one of your better titles with Mass Effect and give it to your fans if that's what they're asking for?
And that's true. And you know what? Just actually jump on something that GKB had said. You know, about the fact of the backwards compatibility thing, they're not just an exclusive, you know, company where they just stay on one console. And so for them to just do backwards compat, they also may be looking at that as, okay, well, if we do backwards compat for Xbox and then say do remaster for Sony, then, well, that's not fair to the Xbox fans. But then if they turn around and be like, well, we're just going to give backwards compat, but we're not going to make a remaster, then, you know, they're letting their Sony fans down. And they're still a company that wants to broaden out to all of the consoles and not just stay with one particular. So a remaster of, again, a highlighted game like Mass Effect is actually in their best interest to do, in my opinion.
Well, here's my take on it. I mean, first of all, it makes more sense for Sony simply because they don't have backwards compatibility. I mean, I have a PS4 and I got the Uncharted bundle, and you know, most I guess these companies now too. A lot of people buying these consoles are new adopters, so they're going to be, you know, they're going to want to deal with classic games, but it's only fair to give them the best edition. I mean, the Uncharted collection, despite the multiplayer, which I could care less because the multiplayer, in my personal opinion, was a bit of trash anyway, like it was kind of worth it. Like, God of War didn't have much of an increase, but if you're going to get the game and it's going to have better frame rates, it's going to have cleaner graphics, I mean, why wouldn't you want the best edition at a cheaper price? But I'm going to tell you, how to do it right is how the Coalition did Gears of War. Now that, my friend, is a remaster because it was done from the ground up. That's how you do a proper remaster, because everything about that game was improved from the ground up. The multiplayer was improved, the graphics were improved, you got everything. I mean, Microsoft even threw in the original, the games with the copy. Is like, wow, like, talk about a steal of a deal. Uncharted is probably, or the God of War game, those are how not to do it, because just giving it an up-res to resolution to me is just, it's a bit of a rip-off, but you can see my point, and I think the Mass Effect collection is a popular enough game, and if you put all 3 of them on one disc, I think you're going to have a hit. I would buy it because personally I don't have my old Xbox 360 yet. I would definitely jump into that and buy the definitive edition, but let's hope they do it right.
Yeah, can I ask you guys a question? Do you think it makes, to the diehards, shout out to Jamie Moran, do you think it makes a huge difference whether they do a full from the ground up reboot and add additional content like they did with Definitive Edition Gears, or do you think it's just more about bringing those classic nostalgic titles back into the new generation, whether it's not a full reboot, but essentially where they're adding new content? Do you think that makes that big of a difference to the people that are really demanding like a remaster?
I don't think so. I think that if they're a true fan, and if it comes at backwards compatible, then they'll play it there, or on PC or on PlayStation now, whatever the case may be. They'll actually go out of the way and play it. Now, then you have other kinds of people that are like, well, I already beat all that. If they get a remaster, then they get new achievements, and they might do a different storyline and stuff like that. But personally, for me, I think I'm tired of remasters. But at the same time, this whole generation is nothing but remasters, so it kind of sucks that they're always leaning that way. And I'm pretty sure that EA is seeing how popular BioShock is and Skyrim, and they're kind of wanting a little piece of that pie. And that's what I think. Because honestly, there's nothing wrong with putting it on the EA Vault or the EA Access Vault.
I definitely agree. And you know what? Speaking of the whole remaster thing, that actually kind of works a little bit into the next news topic, which is actually the remaster, I guess, of what you would like to call the PlayStation 4, and they're calling it the PlayStation 4 Slim. Now, it's not just us that, don't like the way it looks. There's actually a lot of people, whether they're PlayStation fans or whether they're Xbox fans, are not really liking the way that this PlayStation 4 Slim looks, especially on the fact that it's not actually that much smaller than the PlayStation 4 to begin with. So how is it really much of a Slim other than, like a lot of people are saying, looks like a grilled cheese sandwich or something like that.
Wow.
With that being said, with all these rumors, what do you guys feel about this the PlayStation 4 Slim?
Who
wants to go first?
I'll go first. Go ahead, Fox. You go. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what are you doing? Get out of here! Nobody wants you. Nah, go ahead.
Just before you move into this topic, let me put this one out for Jamie Moran. Hey, Jamie, how's this for a title for the Mass Effect remaster? Mass Effect Trilogy, the Remastered Effect.
He's gonna love that for sure. As far as the PS4 Slim goes, I don't care what it looks like. I mean, people are gonna like it no matter what. I personally didn't like the black textured look. Like from the pictures, maybe the pictures didn't do it justice. It kind of looked like a rubberized coating for some reason. To me personally, I thought it would have looked better white. And that maybe because I kind of have this Xbox S over here in front of me, and it looks beautiful white. But I don't understand why this is a thing. I get that, like, console generations before, this is what they do. They do a slim version, it's cheaper, blah, 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 blah. But in this day and age, like, with consoles being more connected to everything, I would have liked to have seen maybe a little more refresh, maybe the Ultra HD stuff or HDR, whatever they want.
New features.
Yeah, new features. I mean, to accentuate the price there. I just don't understand the market for this one right now.
It seems like they took away from the original PlayStation 4. Like it's missing, I think it's missing one of the components, like that. Was it the SDI, whatever that's called? It just. I won't even talk about the way it looks. I don't think anybody really likes the way it looks, but it doesn't have HDR, like you were just saying. It doesn't have 4K. I mean, and they're coming out with this, and they're supposed to be coming out with the Neo, and there's talks of them coming out with a handheld, and then add all that to the mix, they just increased the price of PlayStation Plus $10 too. So what are they doing for their consumers right now?
20 in Canada, bastards.
Yeah, they raised it. It's a pretty high hike in Canada for them.
Yeah, it went from $49.99 to now it's $69.99. It's like, what the hell, man?
I mean, what are you saying when you do that to I mean, like, there was nothing there was nothing wrong with the original PlayStation 4, and everyone's expecting the Neo announcement. Oh, and not to mention VR as well, PSVR.
Oh yeah, more hardware.
Yeah, so like you're asking people to go out and drop, all this money for PSVR, then you come out with a slim console. Now you're talking about all this other crap right now. It's just like, what are you doing? I mean, I don't get it.
It's not even just that. The problem with this is, one, the ventilation on it looks horrible. There's already rumors that it's overheating, and that it's not any better than the original PlayStation 4. It doesn't have the 4K, and like everyone's been saying, it doesn't have anything unique other than it's a little smaller and overheats even more now. So it's just I don't understand the purpose, because even if they bring out the the VR and stuff, is this even going to be like that compatible with it?
Yeah.
Supposedly it is. I mean, it says it on the box, right? That it's ready for VR and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're saying anybody with a base PS4, whether it's the Slim or that one, is ready for PlayStation VR.
You're gonna have to have more cables and stuff connected to it, but if that's what you want, then that's what you're gonna pay for.
That's some other
Frankenstein's monster hooked up in there.
My question here. Go ahead, Fox. I thought you were done.
I was just gonna add to it, like saying that the fact that they're bringing this out is kind of weird to me. Only to the fact that a lot of the people that I know that have PlayStation are happy with their console the way it is, and this doesn't give them any reason or incentive to get a different one. Obviously, they don't like the way it looks and stuff like that. But my brothers couldn't believe that was real. They were like, no, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I think it is real. They're not denying it, and it's been this long, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're not happy with it. They're like, I'm just gonna stay with the one I have. It's the same shit,
Yeah, like that was. It all comes down to the tech specs. Because on the 1S, it's like if you've got a 1, there's a reason to upgrade to the 1S, even if you're excited for the Scorpio. There's still a reason to take this step in between.
Right.
But if the only reason that I would get a PS4 Slim as opposed to the standard PS4 is so that I've got an extra, 4 inches on my entertainment center, what am I doing?
That space. You need that space.
I don't even think you're getting that much with it, because like when they put it on top of the other original PS4, is like it's like barely a half an inch smaller than the other one. That's again like the PS4 original one is already really small. It doesn't need to be any smaller. I thought they did a good job at first, like with that whole the way it's styled, and form factor.
And you know what? I just figured it out. I know exactly what it is. You got to get the smaller PS4, because now that the Xbox One S has the 4K Blu-ray drive, I got to go buy all these 4K Blu-rays, and so Sony's just being a good other person in the market and making their console smaller. So I've got space in my entertainment center for all the things that are now capable or compatible with my Xbox One.
Your logic is fucking flawless.
That's it.
But that's just it. Look, like I say, statistics show that every time another console comes out in a re-edition, is it, or what do you want to call it? I know a slimmed out edition. They always sell well, at least for the first while. And I can pretty well assure you that Microsoft is going to phase out the Fat Boy, and Sony's going to get rid of their current model and go to this one, like they all have. And I totally agree with Lady Foxfire that I have a PlayStation 4. I got the one, the second model where they took the glossy side off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice in a sense because you don't see the friggin' fingerprints and the dust all over it. But I mean, but I like it. I like the current model better than the new one. The new one kind of reminds me of the friggin' weight scale in my washroom, except that it's black.
But one thing with that though is your concept to that is where you're saying people buy the slims and stuff like that. The old slims always had something added, like the Xbox 360 Slim ended up having the HDMI connection and stuff like that from the original base 360. The PlayStation Slim, PlayStation 3 Slim and stuff, they had other connections and had things that made you and at least improve your image somewhat better, where this one is exactly the same. So what exactly is the concept of this?
At least they added a light onto the controller, so if you bring over enough friends, you guys can have a freaking disco.
Hell yeah.
That's a good point too. To talk about that as well. One of the complaints about the controller is that it would die really quickly. So let's add another LED in there. I didn't really understand that one.
Something else that draws power.
Yeah.
I think it would have been nice if.
Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to cut you off. Real quick, we're over 90 viewers between Beam and YouTube. We really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, what's
Thank
up?
you.
Woo-hoo. What's up, everybody?
Oh, wait, I got one.
Thanks for hanging out.
That's been approved.
I love that. Sorry, guys.
But talking about the PlayStation, it would have been nice to see that on that box, that image that we saw that was leaked. That it would have been like, this control is better, longer battery life, like in large print. That would have been like, oh, an incentive or something.
Here's a question for you guys: is the age of just upgrading your console for pure aesthetics like over? Because think about this: like, how many consoles have come out that have not directly like changed anything about the hardware except it's in a smaller form factor? Going back to like when PlayStation came out with the PS1, that tiny little console that they released with it, like, it's been the general. And granted, this might be the just natural evolution of like product design that these companies want to go with, but up until now, we haven't really expected better hardware coming out of a point. Well, if you want to call it a 0.5 or the slim release of these consoles, we haven't seen increased hardware before. Like the Xbox One S is like the one that really, I mean, aside from maybe like some hard drive or like a integrated Ethernet port, I mean, what other, or an integrated wireless even, what other like hardware what's the word? Hardware improvements
Like upgrades.
have we seen from a console up until the Xbox One S came out?
Yeah.
And kind
I
of.
don't know. Have you taken apart an Xbox 360 Slim and a regular one lately?
Well,
Yeah.
I think what he's
Well,
getting at is
little
like,
things, but
I'm asking as far as like performance goes.
It was a joke.
I know.
well, no, because I don't know. It
I
wasn't
laughed
when
in my
they-
brain.
It wasn't when they did
thank
the. It wasn't with the 360 Slim. I think it was when they did the Elite, which I don't really know if you could call the original 360 Elite a 360.5, but that was when they first unveiled, or not unveiled, but when they had HDMI on board, because 360 at launch wasn't. That was component HDMI, so it was a little later that they had that, and then the 360 Slim, of course, had HDMI as well. But I think it also comes down to we're seeing technology advancing a lot faster today, and so like in the it used to be, even if you look just back to the PS3/Xbox 360, within that console life cycle there wasn't as much of a technological advantage in terms of televisions in that cycle, where it's like, yeah, at the beginning you didn't have HDMI, you did have it at the end, and it was better and it was great, like sweet.
Yeah, it
everyone's
was
had it.
standard to HD basically.
well,
But
for me,
now
like,
that we've gone to 4K and
that being
including
said-
HDR,
well,
it's different.
Let me answer your question, Brew, real quick. Is like, back when, technology back in like PS2 days and all that kind of stuff, technology wasn't as advanced then, so everything was pretty chunky. And now we're into a time frame of mine where everything's smaller. So yeah, I don't think being smaller is enough anymore. I mean, we see it on phone revisions, we see it on other tech, TVs, whatever you want, whatever, toasters. It doesn't even matter. Like, you always see these, they're adding new features, and that's the selling point going forward with the new technology, is what features, what connectivity, what other stuff are you going to give me besides a smaller form factor, because that should already be there.
That is definitely true. You know what? I have to say, as everybody knows me, my advice on hardware, and I'm going to say with that before I fall asleep, as much as everyone loves hardware, I'm sending this back to you, GKB.
Oh, what? What the heck? Okay.
Well, I was going to say, video gaming is the only type of entertainment where a woman gets excited over something smaller.
Well,
Yes.
He's not wrong.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I like the.
Whoa. This is going to go bad. This is gonna go bad.
A VCR. There we go. I couldn't even think of what the heck a VCR is. Oh
no.
my god.
Maybe I like my cassette tapes.
Awesome. All right,
Shout
guys.
out to the 83 people we have just on YouTube right now. That's
I know we're like over 90. It's come on, guys. Let's hit 100 between Beam and YouTube. You guys rock.
I got that gift card for, if we hit 100 on YouTube, I got that gift
Let's
card.
go. Let's hit that
Offer
100.
still live.
The coolest 83 people on the internet, right there. We found them.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into our first game topic of the night, and I'm really excited for this game. It's one of my most anticipated games, and that is Recore.
What's Recore?
Oh, dude, don't even.
What?
You just like hurt my feelings. You hurt me down.
Oh my God! Have you seen that collector's edition?
Yes.
Oh my God! It looks so amazing.
I'm pretty sure we have it like pre-ordered, I think.
Yeah, we do.
It is beautiful.
So I wanted to go around the panel and see what everyone thought about the new information coming out of Gamescom about Recore.
I want to start off because I am so psyched about the fact that I can customize Mac. Oh my God! I love customizing things. Mac is like a robot dog, so, you know, I get to actually customize things in this game, even though it's not like a multiplayer game or anything like that. Oh my God, that makes things so amazing and makes me want to just sit there. I can be there for hours just customizing.
She would. That's awesome.
I definitely would.
I like having options to have colors and different styles and stuff like that. So mine would look different than yours. So that's pretty cool.
And then just to clarify, like the customization they're talking about is only visual.
Yeah, for like the frames of the dogs and all that kind of stuff. So you can make them look
The
like a
colors.
bulldog.
Stuff like that, yeah.
But there is customization for Jewel's weapon, which is really the only customizability thing that she has. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know why the dogs and the other ones wouldn't, but I guess they can upgrade their abilities and stuff like that. I don't know.
I was
haven't played
listening
it
to
yet.
a podcast earlier today, and they're saying you can customize your dog as like make it look like a wolf, make it
Yeah, like a
Oh.
make it exotic looking.
Why did you say
What?
that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that
I figured y'all
part.
gonna kick that. I was watching it earlier today. It was,
She was
a good
like-
idea.
Yeah, I
This
saw that
game
too.
has officially just become like a 60-hour game to me because now
Yeah, you're gonna just customize forever.
I will. Oh my God.
But
This
I-
game just
honestly-
surpassed Titanfall.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead, Predator.
This wasn't like in my top 5 games I was gonna get. I was going to get this game, but it wasn't like a must buy. But it actually, after Gamescom, it kind of moved into that top 5 tier for me. So I'll definitely pick it up. I'm really excited about the Play Anywhere feature, so I can actually use it on my Surface or play on my computer and keep all my game saves and all my achievements and stuff like that without having to do it all over again. And it's only $40, so you really can't like be mad about that. And it's a brand new IP.
Yep.
So everybody out there needs to support this, so we can at least try and get a sequel out of this thing.
I
Hell
agree.
yeah, have you seen that gameplay? That video
it's so
is
good.
awesome.
So good.
Well, I got to say the game looks incredible. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick up a copy of it, but at the same time, guys, I don't know. I'm getting that weird feeling in the pit of my stomach that we got another Quantum Break on our hands. A game that's going to be critically acclaimed but very underappreciated from a sales perspective. And I know they're trying to boost it really with the price, which is it's a help. But I don't know. I just Microsoft doesn't seem like they're throwing the ship between this one right now.
I agree. Like they need to push it more. Yeah, we need to see more marketing and everything towards that. I think you're right too. It might fall like Quantum Break, and we could see it to go on Steam and PC and all that kind of stuff as well. So there's always that. Like I'm for if it goes anywhere. Get more sales, give us another sequel. I'm all for that. Like I don't really care. I'm always gonna play it on my console anyway because that's where I enjoy playing games. But back to Recore real quick. I think the world looks amazing. I love the premise of the story too, where you're like this terraformer. You go to sleep. These bots are supposed to like terraform this world. It's supposed to look beautiful, and you come out and it's like completely the same when you left it, and everything's run amok. I do like the whole fact that we can customize like the robots and Jewel's weapons, and it's got like that RPG feeling. And I know Brutal's going to talk about this too, but like the 6 gig size, that kind of worries me. About like, is this going to be a huge game? Is this going to be a small like couple hour game? They're touting that it's going to be 8 to 10 hours depending on like collectibles and how much you play it. So I don't know. I think from like the gameplay we saw and everything like that, I think it does have a pretty good replayability, where you can earn those. We have to earn these robots and come back and like you can find other secrets and stuff because you have those abilities to go back and find other things.
That's kind of like where it came in. It gives that like Zelda like Ocarina type feel, like where you have to go back to get like certain like discoveries or like little like I'll call them achievements if you want. Granted, there weren't achievements back then, but taking like in-game stuff and going back and farming like places you've already been.
Right.
I think
That's Tomb Raider style too.
Yeah, and just like I think that really adds to like the replayability of the game itself. And I hope like don't like I'm weary just because of the 60 gig size, and I know size isn't everything.
That's what she said.
You can. Yeah, I gave a pause so you can clip that and then make fun of me later. That's fine.
Gotta
But
sneak it in there.
I'm really anxious to play this game, and like we always say, keep your expectations in check. So I'm doing that. But I can't help but be excited for this game because it looks gorgeous. The mechanics look awesome. From what AsthMattic told us about the game as far as the combat system goes and like the different colored weapons, and the game looks really fun. It looks like a breath of fresh air. I'm not going to hate on it just for the game size. Like I love indie games, so I'm not going to be pissed if the game's small. But the only reason it's awkward to me is because the game looks so gorgeous. I mean, some of those screenshots are so crisp and so polished, and just seeing a big, expansive game like we're thinking this might be, matched with those insanely detailed-looking graphics, like 6 gigs, regardless if it has a day one patch or not, just seems slightly out of the realm of possible for me. So I'm gonna keep my hopes up, but I'm going into it skeptical as always.
Hey, keep this in mind. Some games are like 40 gigabytes on disc, and the games are still crap. So,
It's true.
You're right.
Well, it's not even just that. There has been some times where there's a game at pre-order and it's not actually posted the full size of the game.
Yeah,
wait till.
I'm not saying that is this case.
I'm sorry,
just saying it
I
could
just didn't follow
possibly.
what you just said. Can you
So
say that again?
There has been some games in the past where the pre-order listing has said that it's this size. Like, was this
so
actually
you're saying,
confirmed
like the
by
actual-
the developers, or are you guys just going off the Xbox website? Because
what it was posted. We don't have anything
Yeah.
official.
yeah, see, I'm just saying, with that, there has been a couple games. I saw a few last year that we were like, oh my god, is that really the size of this game? But then when it released, it ended up actually being like 12 or 13 gigs of a size. So I'm just saying, there's always that slight possibility that the size may change. Not saying it can.
Yeah,
or
there could
will.
be day one patches. There could be, whatever, for sure.
I think a lot of people are relying on that day one patch because I think a lot of people share the same sentiment that 6 gigabytes seems surprisingly small. I mean, I think ICXM even put in like it's a lot smaller than you might think in their headline. And like it's concerning regardless, like because you don't know for sure like how big that patch is going to be. So 6 gigs for this game that everyone's been waiting for, in the quality of visuals that this game's presenting just doesn't match for me right now. But I'm by no means am I saying this game's going to be bad because
No, you're being
I'm excited.
objective. You're trying to give another side of the story. Yeah, totally get that, man, for sure. What did you guys get to see the interview with like Infune and IGN? I know I'm saying IGN, that's a bad thing, but they did do a really good interview with Infune where he was talking about like, you're in this desert world, and he kept specifically saying dungeons where you go down in these areas and you kind of get into the platforming and all these kind of cool things, and then fight bosses at the end there. And I thought that was a really cool concept. I like that whole like kind of like semi-open world, but then you're going into a linear story part. I like that.
I love that too, like having like instances almost to where you can go in.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's talk of customization, of crafting, things like that, as far as weapons go. I mean, I'd like to see... I'm always a big fan of like having exclusive parts or exclusive like mats or weapons, whatever you want to dial it down to, but having exclusivity in certain regions of your game is always attractive to me, and I would like to see it to where you either need to use specific companions, one of your robots, or a specific weapon.
Well, Jez actually just posted in the chat. Shout out to you, Jez. He says Recore has an open world, overworld with dangerous like Zelda. Yeah. And he of course says his interview was better than IGN. So
I have no doubt in that, Jez. We have no doubt that
completely
you
agree. Go check out his interview over IGN's. He also makes great, guys.
Another good point too. Like the order was 50 gigs, and we kind of know how that turned out. So, there's two sides to there. So
Yeah, it's just too early to make a call on that.
What did you guys? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying, putting all those things together, the fact that, all these different things that they're talking about the game and the way that it plays and the way that it looks, I'm more interested in the story, actually. So this is actually why I'm going to pick it up, because I don't know if it's kind of like my type of game style, but I still want to pick this up because I'm interested in why is she there, what's going on, where is she going. So I will be picking this game up, even if I have to go through all the RPG elements and stuff like that I don't really care for. Right. So that's what I'm actually looking for.
She's another Lara Croft.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I'm down with that. Badass woman.
Exactly.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, Jules is a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. That's for sure.
She just needs that dog, though.
She needs that dog, though.
Well, she's got them robots.
So I want to touch like one more thing, and then if we want to move on, we can. Is they were talking a lot about the cores, and Jez, correct me if I'm wrong, but each core is a different color, and if you use that on the boss, it does more damage. And also there's talk of possible like legendary stuff in here, maybe cores, weapons, and stuff like that. So I like that kind of a loot system too. Much like Destiny and other games that use that kind of stuff. So
what the? No, that sounds cool. Yeah, that sounds really cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited for if there's like those legendary pieces that can make your. So are we saying there's like a legendary core that you can get for like particular followers or companions that will make them like a better essentially it's an upgrade for them?
Like upgrades, yeah, for sure. Like there's rare.
Yeah, I'm all about that, dude. Like I'm all about that. So
Brutal, I gotta ask. Between Beam and YouTube, we hit over 100. So is it just YouTube we have to hit over 100, or together?
I was talking with YouTube, but I mean we're hitting 90 now. So I mean,
come
what
on,
do you guys
drop
think?
that code. We want to
drop
see
that code. Drop that code.
All right, keep those eyeballs open. We're dropping it. It's gonna be random. I'm not gonna say anything,
wait,
so just keep your
I
eyes
got
open.
a thingy for that. Maybe.
Wait, you could be on either. Share the thingy.
No, that doesn't work.
I'll take that.
So I want to hear what Newf was saying there real quick. Sorry, guys.
I was just going to say, guys, because like I said, we're talking about the size of the game being a bit smaller. Do you think because it's a new IP, there is a slight possibility perhaps the devs or Microsoft who's publishing the title are holding back even per se part of the game just to see how well it does, and basically there's an instantaneous DLC for this game if it does well?
I mean, that's a good point. Newf, because like when Halo and all those come out, they're like, oh my god, it's like 50 gigs, it's gonna take up so much space. So maybe they are being a little conservative with the size, so they don't get that kind of like lashback and stuff like that. I could totally see something like that for sure.
Cool.
Interesting.
And the characters and something about the game actually kind of reminds me of Star Wars a little bit. She almost reminds me of Rey. I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Hell yeah. She got robots like BB-8.
She's got that appeal.
Exactly.
BB-8. Oh my god, I love BB-8.
She's got robots with big blue balls.
Jez might have some codes to drop in
Ooh,
the chat. You should totally do it, Jez.
Codes.
Codes are always good.
Do it, Jez.
I guess that one doesn't really work either.
Anybody else
kind
want
of
to?
works. It's kind of like a cash register. I like that one better than the drum roll. That looks good.
Anybody else have last minute things to say about Recore before we go ahead and move on?
I think
you need to use that sound effect every time somebody mentions the word remaster.
No, that would be. What's this one? Oh, I have one that doesn't work.
Fail.
What the fuck?
Code.
That one and play
wow.
Jez threw out a code. Get that code.
Where'd that come from?
Look at that.
There's a code in the chat. Let's go get it. Who's got
That
it?
code.
Of course, guys, make sure
3
you
months of
are
Xbox
and
Live.
say who gets it, and
Yes,
come on, be respectful. Say thank you.
Absolutely. Say thank you.
Yeah, let us know who got it.
All right, so let's go ahead and before we bore everybody, let's go into the next topic. And I wanted to talk about is what I think is going to be a hit, maybe a sleeper hit. I don't know. There's a lot of Mafia fans out there, and that's Mafia 3. I'm really digging the time frame that this game takes place in. It's that volatile time in U.S. history. Vietnam is like cracking off. And I want to go ahead and see what everybody thought about Mafia 3. We didn't get to touch it on the show last week, so.
Oh my god, dude, that soundtrack is just caressing my soul as I watch it. Dude,
100 songs in the soundtrack in this game.
Yeah,
100.
that soundtrack is fucking off the chain. You got Johnny Cash in there.
Oh, man.
Like that whole like genre of music, that whole generation of music is gonna. There's so many songs that can play into like the development of that game, and that alone was huge to me. But I'm gonna let other people go because I've been anticipating Mafia 3 so hard. I don't want to like crush the subject. So whoever else wants to talk about it, go ahead, please.
Well, I'm not a huge open world fan. I get bored easily with those games, but this one actually does look really, really interesting. I like that, like GKB was saying, the time error and stuff like that. I was looking at some gameplay footage today from E3, and I was like, yeah, I could probably play with this game for a little bit. But I know these games are like the type of games I play for a little while, and then I'll get like halfway through it, and then I'll put it down because something else comes out, and then when I come back to it, I'll forget what the fuck I was doing. So
Yeah.
I have to like get through the game like in like, you know, it's as few as settings as I possibly can. What's the DLC like for this? Not DLC, but does it have multiplayer as well? Like kind of like
I don't know if it has
GTA?
multiplayer or not.
If anything, maybe co-op, but no, not from what I know.
Sorry, I
Cool.
don't mean to sound stupid, but what's the release date for that game?
October
September
7th.
Early October,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
October
the same time as
that's-
Gears.
Yeah, that's
As-
the other thing.
At the same time as Gears,
console.
early access though.
I think
So
we
if
got
you're
a
getting the
sleeper hit for
standard,
the
it's
year.
after.
Yeah. I
I think we
think
got a sleeper hit. I think it's gonna sell, but I think it's gonna get lost in the shuffle real quick with all the shooters coming out in the first half of November.
yeah, it's gonna be a tough holiday for games for sure.
That
True.
should have been. I would have kept that for like March.
Yeah, February, March, April.
I kind of did the same thing with Mafia 2, where I kind of picked it up, let it go, then came back, and I didn't know what was going on. So I understand what Predator's talking about, but I mean the game looks amazing graphically. I mean the character's face is amazing looking. But I feel like everybody's going to be talking about this in the beginning of next year. So yeah.
I just think personally they have way too many of these games crunched up together where, you know, they're going to release this one with Gears, and now there's a lot of Xbox fans waiting for this Gears to release. So there's going to be a lot of people jumping on that early access. And of course, you know, there's the Gears console that's coming out, and then just like the collector's editions and everything else. So a
She's
lot
getting
of
me
people
hyped.
Yeah.
Well, it's just people have all their money put away towards
Yep.
Gears. So how
Yep.
many of them are really going to jump to Mafia 3 before all these other games? Like putting a game like this, and of course, you know, you have Recore that has just released in September. So you know, they're definitely backing other games into corners, and I don't know if it was a good idea to release this one this late
You're
into the
completely
year.
right.
I think they
Yeah.
should have waited till spring for this game.
I
Yeah.
agree with the SheWolf. I feel really bad for games like this for the one sense that I'm going to give you a perfect example. When was it last year when Rise of the Tomb Raider came
Yep.
out? It came out on the same night as Fallout. I was in a lineup at EB with over 100 people, and I kid you not, I did not buy Fallout. I bought Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I was about one of only 3 or 4 people in that freaking lineup that bought Rise of the Tomb Raider, and it almost made me cry. It was like, this is an amazing game,
Absolutely.
and that's what happened. And I
Yeah.
see the same thing coming here.
Same here, same here.
And look at where we were 3 months later, like exactly what we said here about like watch this game in February and March, because Tomb Raider was the same story. As soon as the start of 2017 came around, people had played Fallout. The hype for that game had kind of died off as
down,
everyone was playing,
yep.
and people are like, "Holy crap!" Like I just opened up Rise of the Tomb Raider that I got at the same time, but it's been on the shelf, and this game has blown my mind. And I think we can expect a lot of the same thing from Mafia 3 right now. And as a fan of narrative games, and like I've been a huge Halo fan forever, and like the music has made it really made that game for me so much that it was the first game like as a 15-year-old that I'm like, I want to buy this soundtrack full of like classical sounding music because it reminds me of this story and because it made this game so awesome. And to see the developers of Mafia 3 like putting that same flair and showing that this is a story-driven game, that this is a game that's going to be defined by this music today is amazing, especially after we just had Stranger Things come out, which again was completely defined by its music. I'm like, dude, such a great time for musicians in gaming.
Yeah, that
Very
intro was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But-
I want to get back into like Mafia 3 though. Like, you know, I wanted to start on like I love how it like looks. I think they really nailed the era in like all the trailers that we've seen. You know, it looks like that nice Louisiana back in that time. You know, there was crazy things going on.
It's keep going, man. Go
okay,
ahead.
no, like we were saying before, is
I'm going.
there was like over 100 songs in the soundtrack for this game, and from that era, they had some great music of that time. And I can't wait to get in one of these cars, maybe like just go run over people and jam out to some freaking music. You know, I think that's gonna be totally a good time. And what I really liked,
trench coats.
Yeah, and what I really liked in the heist trailer and stuff is, you know, the big story elements that they touched in there. Like, you know, this one family might be betraying the main character, which I think is awesome. By the way, I think I'm gonna so dig this character, and like maybe his like revenge and get back at this other family. I'm hyped to see how this game is gonna unfold. But you know, I do agree with a lot of your guys' like sentiments about. It's probably going to be overshadowed with Gears and that whole thing because, you know, Gears is a big title. But I think I'm optimistic about it for sure.
But not even just Gears. Like, if you look at it from the PlayStation side, they also have, you know, a game they've been waiting for 7 or 8 years now because they got Last Guardian coming out.
Since they were babies.
What's that other one? GTA or...
No, GT Sport.
Yes, GT Sport. So, you know, they also have a few of games that they have been waiting for quite a while to release as well. So it's not even just the Xbox side. This game is literally being crushed by both sides. And it's just, I don't know. I feel bad for it, I do.
Here's a problem with every other game right now. They don't have Grand Theft Auto on the box. How about that? A 3-year-old game. It's still the top-selling game of last month.
Oh my God, that's right.
Multi-plat. Unbelievable. That says a lot for it right there, man. Either people are just, I don't know. I can't even describe that. That's insane.
Yeah. Yep. Grand Theft Auto and Minecraft. They still sell well.
Still nailing it. But don't think that's gonna kill this game. Like, I don't think this game's gonna fail. It's not gonna be a flop because it looks beautiful and it's gonna do well. But just I would say wait a couple months for it to really hit.
Boxing Day, man. Boxing Day.
Yep. Black Friday. All that cool days.
Like that. The environment that this game's placed in, like you were saying, GKB, like the time period, but Louisiana in itself, like. Seeing in those trailers, like they're going through like the whole like Mardi Gras parade, and it lends to create a bunch of really unique environments that I don't think a lot of games have touched on, and I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to play through. Aside from the fact that I think the game looks awesome, I like the premise of the game, but the environment itself I think is going to sell on a lot of the enjoyability. Is that a word?
It is now.
The happiness factor.
Trademark, bitches.
I think it's going to be the realism of the narrative that sets it apart, honestly, with like I said, the very detailed graphics, but the timeline and the narrative, because, you know, GTA is sort of like semi-realistic. Then you got, what's the other one? Saints Row, which kind of really went off the deep end and went the other complete way.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a good thing for Saints Row or not. I couldn't tell you. I kind of got lost interest in the series when it kind of went all weird and wacky. But
it got crazy. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that part, dude.
So, real quick, anybody else want to say anything else about Mafia 3 before we get into Brutal segments? Nope.
No, let's do this.
All right.
Take it away.
Lucky, I was gonna do the crickets.
Yeah.
Say hello to my little friend.
All right, let's get into Brutal segment. All right, everyone, it's time for the indie discussion. Take it away, Brutal.
Today on Indie Discussion, we have a game that was actually a big surprise for how little coverage it got. When I started playing it, I was really surprised with it. It's called Turn On by Brainy Studios, LLC. It dropped a few months ago. I think the first time I saw it was a review by Maka, maybe, actually. But I went ahead and played the game. It's very relaxing. If you're looking for that like easy game to play, easy achievements, this is the game for you. Like if you just want to take a break from the intense gaming and the intense like multiplayer or competitive or whatever you're doing, or that grinding game that you're trying to do, this is a game for you. It's fairly simple to play. It's super intuitive, really easy. Essentially, you're this like little ball of lightning or a ball of electricity that's tasked with trying to restore power to the city around you. Like I said, the achievements are super easy, so that's a really big selling point, and at $14.99 it's a really easy pickup. I know that GKB said that he wanted to play it. Has anybody else looked at it? I know it's not a huge title, but it's actually really, really worth the money, in my opinion.
I haven't got a chance to play it yet, man, but I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I know we talk a lot about like video games and stuff. I really like. I'm digging the art style, like this, like pastel, colorful thing with all these lights and stuff, and how you can jump back and forth, like we were talking about the gameplay and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting. It's right up my alley of a type of game that I like to play. So. For sure.
It's really like it's a really lighthearted game. It's not too serious. It doesn't take itself too serious. It's called Turn On. For people asking in the chat, it's called Turn On. But you can find it on the Xbox store. I really enjoyed it. I played roughly about an hour or so of it, and I'm at about 30 to 40% of the achievements done. But I mean, the achievements start just pouring in. But granted, I think there's about 80 achievements to the game.
Well, what was your favorite part? Like, what caught you and drew you into this game?
I mean, to me, like any indie game, like I kind of take a gamble on these games that I play because I don't look too much into them. Like if I see something and it really like captures my attention, to this one, it just looked like the simplicity of it. Like that's part of the reason I like indies, is because it gives you a break from that like critical thinking or that like decision making you have to make in some of these bigger games. So that kind of like lent itself to me to that's kind of where it was most attractive to me. But as I started playing it, I'm telling you, it's like the soundtrack is awesome. It's just a fun game. It's not to be taken too serious. It's just a fun, easy playing game. I definitely recommend going to pick it up if you want like some easy achievements. That's probably the biggest selling point on it for me. It is fun. It gets a little repetitive, but with that being said, I am dropping the code right now. Look at the chat. Look at the chat. And dropping the code right now.
Get that code.
If it was a porno game called Turn Me On, I'd be sold.
That was one of the comments I was going to make. I was going to be like, we are not talking about turning on Brutal, but...
I mean, that's welcome too.
For the Chivos, though.
Them Chivos.
Them
Chivos is worth it.
That code that I just posted will pay for 80% of the game, so
Boom.
maybe that's your next game you can go pick up some easy achievements.
Pick up that game.
People are like, wait, what? I thought this was the game.
Well, I think Snap got it. Mel, did you get that? Verify in the chat, please.
Yeah.
Who got that?
Yeah.
Anyways, that just kind of went quiet.
I
Wow.
was trying to say.
That's
Waiting for the verification.
That's about it. I mean, the whole point of indie discussion for me, guys, is to pick up random games that I think might be interesting. I'll put the money down and invest in it for you guys and let you know if I think it's worth a play or not. So
Thank you. That's awesome.
I'm glad that you guys all
doing a service for the fans out there.
I've been trying to get a freaking code for this for a while, and they're not all that nice with replying.
Oh.
It's a good segment, Brutal, but this is a good point here I'm going to bring up when it comes to indie games. Remember the Xbox Live Arcade? Remember every type of game that came out was like super promoted by Xbox and like on the dashboard, and now it just seems like every time I turn on the Xbox, there's like 3 or 4 new games that just came out and I've never even heard of half of them. It's like, what the hell? Anybody else kind of agree there?
I'd never even heard of this game until we started talking about this for the.
That's kind of what I try. I mean, that's kind of the point of this whole what I try to do is like to bring spotlight onto some of these games that don't get that overwhelming like coverage. So, I mean, there's always I find gems all the time that I really enjoy playing, and I just want to kind of take the initial hit for people and review them, and if you guys like them, cool. If not, it's just a suggestion. So.
That's cool, man. Keep doing it.
Heck yeah, man. Love it.
Stuff.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next game. If Brutal's done there, I don't want to like cut him off or anything like that.
Yeah, that's about it, man. I really do encourage everybody to go try it out, though. If that's kind of your style, it's really just a platformer.
I'm definitely picking it up for sure. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go on to a controversial game as of late. I know me and SheWolf has voiced our opinion on YouTube about this. And that is the first tech test for Titanfall 2. Now there's going to be another one this weekend. I know a lot of the community has heard, like I said, me and SheWolf talk about this. But I want to hear what the rest of the panel has to say. We want to give you guys all the viewpoints so you can make the best decision about games. So what does everybody think about the tech test of Titanfall 2?
Oh wow!
Hold on, SheWolf. Hold on.
She's already
I
growling
will
over
wait.
there.
I will wait. And hear everybody else first.
Her wolfy teeth are out. Yo, watch out.
I've got an opinion.
Eyes are
Give it a
glowing
view.
orange, people.
Go for
Oh,
it.
scary.
What do you got? Newf? I'm sorry.
I want to hear Fox. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, girl.
I don't think
take it
anybody's
over.
gonna have to go after
Girl
Fox
power.
though. So.
Oh, what? No, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and SheWolf went off, and I was just like, oh, shit, I agree with you, and I was botting it a little bit. But anyway, I'm really disappointed, and it's kind of like straight up turned off from wanting to keep playing it. I am going to force myself to play it this weekend, but not because I'm looking forward to it, just because I want to see the improvements and stuff. But yeah, the first thing I think about is disappointing. I'm not happy with what I saw, but at the same time, I could forgive him a little bit here and there. It's just, it was really bad experience. I mean, the game was okay, like the gameplay was okay, but all the stuff that we had to do to get to that gameplay was frustrating. I already know a couple people that are not interested in this game at all, not even going to pre-order it or anything. So I feel like this was a bad idea, in a way, for them to do this, the way they released it.
Now, SheWolf, you're talking about people who were on the fence before the tech demo, played the tech demo, and now they're not pre-ordering.
Yeah, I mean, just your feelings all the way around for the game.
My initial, I mean, I guess I'll take it off unless you have something to say, AsthMattic.
Well, no, I was asking that was a question for you, Foxfire. That's.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, you mean so you're talking about people who were kind of on the fence, but then when they played the tech demo, they're like, yeah, never mind. Now I'm not really interested.
No, I'm actually talking about people that are looking forward to it. Maybe they weren't as hyped as SheWolf. Sorry about that. I didn't know you were talking to me because you said SheWolf. So I was like, what?
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
totally
I
my
didn't
fault.
say anything.
I mean, I know we're twins, but come on, AsthMattic, come on.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
No, it's
and
okay.
plus our animals may look the same, but she's littler than me.
Aw, because I'm cute, that's why.
Exactly, that's my thing. You're the cute
Tolerance
little
is
one.
always-
I'm the cutest and the littlest.
Yeah.
You're not an animal.
So back to
That's tonight's
Titanfall.
theme. I'm not little.
Anyway,
Okay,
Beg to
so
differ.
So yeah, like I was saying, the people that I know that are looking forward to the game, tried it, were really turned off by it, and are not looking forward to picking this up or even pre-ordering it. So yeah.
Yeah, and that comes back into, like we've mentioned it on the show before, our beta is a good thing. Is getting to play a game before it comes out is a good thing, and it this is really, even though people aren't enjoying this, that makes it the shining example. Because I was super excited for it. I stream it every other week because there's a community of people excited for it, and I'm like, oh, now what do I do? And it's how do you market this? And because it's good because it gives the developers, it gives everyone up at Respawn the opportunity to learn what people about the game aren't enjoying right now and get a chance to fix it. But at the same time, the things that people aren't enjoying about the game, and this is probably something SheWolf can elaborate on a little better, and I do actually mean SheWolf when I said your name that time. It's the things about the game that people are complaining about, the things that they're not enjoying aren't oh, I don't like this gun, or I don't like the way this Titan, walks, or whatever. It's they're really fundamental things about the flow of the game, the speed of the game, just the way it feels. The flavor seems to be somehow different, which is a much more difficult thing to give feedback on and then fix from a development standpoint.
Yeah. Something just seemed off. As soon as I started playing it, I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just the game mode that we were playing. The first couple of days, the only game mode we can get into is the I forgot what it's called, where you get the money. Yeah, you get to go to the bank and stuff like that. The pilot versus pilot that's just Call of Duty to me. But and I remember when me and SheWolf was streaming on Beam, we were trying to get into a match, and we couldn't even do that, properly. So it's just, it's the whole tech demo. I mean, like AsthMattic was saying, like there's a point where sometimes if you have a beta, it could also be a bad thing. And there's a lot of stuff about this game that some people are not liking right now, and I don't know if it's going to be able to be changed between now and the time it releases.
Well, here's my take on it. I'm going to start off by saying, like Norman Osborn said in the original Spider-Man movie, "Back to formula." But anyway, I think for people that are just picking up Titanfall for the first time, they're going to make an honest impression of their own. I think for us who've already played the original, it leaves a bit of a salty taste in your mouth. And the best way I can sum this up for you guys, and I might hit the nail on the head, I kind of said this to Mooch. I said it feels like a different developer is making this game, and I basically said it this way, and if a lot of people like my comment on Twitter, I said Titanfall 2 feels to Titanfall 1 what Gears of War Judgment was to Gears of War 3.
I agree.
Yep, I remember you posted that.
That's totally good points.
It was slower, it had less bots. It just, like you said, guys, the feel of the game was off. It just felt like it was trying to be something it isn't. Like it was almost, like people have been saying, it feels like now they're almost trying to copy the Call of Duty model.
Right.
That's my takeaway from the game. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's not something I wouldn't say I wouldn't buy, because personally, I'm really excited about seeing what they do with the campaign side of the game just as much as I am with the multiplayer, but I'm a little disappointed with what I played.
I agree, Newf. Like, and like we're like huge Titanfall fans. Like I watch Twitter feed, I've watched tons of video, and it seems like the same sentiment keeps coming back. People keep saying the same thing. It's like it doesn't feel right. There's something off with it. It's just, and that's kind of how we feel. Like I think the gameplay, as far as like the shooting mechanics, the sliding, the wall running, I think that all felt great. That part felt like Titanfall to me, right? But there was just something like my character just felt like it had like concrete boots at points, and the boosting and stuff just didn't feel as crisp and as fast as it used to. I mean, and there's other people's like out there that says it feels great and da 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 da. But me, I keep going back to, I play a ton of Call of Duty, I play a ton of Titanfall, and it felt like Call of Duty to me. Like if you took the Titans out, I wouldn't have even known the difference. It'd be like Advanced Warfare to me at this point, right? Like,
let me tell you, watching a SheWolf video of the original Titanfall, it's like watching Usain Bolt with the sharpshooting skills of Deadshot, with Tourette's going through a fucking video. 'Cause it's just like wiping people out.
Yeah.
And this game doesn't feel anything like that at all. Not frantic at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a gameplay experience that lends itself to those insane moments, because that's what made Battlefield popular back in the day, and what it's still riding on is that there's certain things that you can only get in that game, and Titanfall was the same thing with their, just with the Titan system, is that there are certain moments that can only be crafted in that experience, and now they're bleeding that into someplace. They're bleeding that with a different experience that doesn't have the same style, but it's also that we've seen this with games. Like, gaming has been as big in terms of just like entertainment. Gaming's been big enough for long enough that we've seen game series evolve and change, where it's, the first game and the fifth game don't feel the same. But that's not always necessarily a bad thing, because in the same way, if the newer titles, if they're different, if what is different about them is able to bring more people into the fandom and get more people excited about gaming, then that's a good thing. Then that's something that can help push us forward. But we're really just seeing people disappointed in Titanfall 2, and it's not like there's this whole crowd of new people like, yeah, like this game I'm amped for, like this is going to be great. It's like we're just not really seeing that right now.
Do you think that, let's talk about this side real quick. Do you think that if you, for the entire fan base at like the PlayStation side, right, that hasn't played Titanfall, the people that are coming in because it's now available to the PlayStation, like the PlayStation side, do you think this game is enough to capture their attention to want to make them buy it, to capitalize on this whole like expanding to the PlayStation side? Do you think that what is presented in this tech test is enough to capture people and to give them the same sense of awe that we got from Titanfall 1?
I think, yeah, like from a standpoint of, if you haven't played Titanfall 1 to compare this to, yeah, for sure. But for us hardcores and the ones that put a ton of time, dude, I'm a freaking hair away from like Gen 10. I put a shit ton of time into this game. I played it when I came home until like middle of the morning the next day. SheWolf, she'll tell you, like, she had to, like, force me to get off this goddamn game when it came out. Like, I constantly played this game. Like, I know this game.
She could get on it though.
Right. So then, so for like a person, for me, I'm just trying to put it in context for everyone out there. So for a person to me to get into Titanfall 2, like, I immediately noticed something was off with this game. Like, and I hear you, Jez, out there, and you make good points. And it could be the time to kill, but the movement system and everything just felt off to me, man. I played a ton of this game. Like, I know it's off. Something is just different with it, and it doesn't feel like Titanfall anymore.
It felt like a wet.
Okay, I want to. Can I finally jump in here? Everybody's been talking, and I
Do it.
come on.
All right.
Oh, wait, I
We're
got one
gonna
more
go
thing.
down the line, and then all of a sudden, everybody else is just going back and forth.
Full
And I'm
moon.
like, what the hell? Okay,
Full moon.
okay.
Ladies and
When it
gentlemen,
comes to
presenting
Ti-
SheWolf.
I am not a hater of this game. People are sitting there saying, like, oh my god, like, I've gotten tweets about how I hate the game. No, I'm not hating Titanfall 2. I will still choose Titanfall 2 over Call of Duty any day. That is not the issue here. The issue here is the fact that when it comes to Titanfall 2, there is an off balance. And I don't care if you're going to try to tell me that you are this huge Titanfall fan more than I am and whatever. That's your opinion. If you don't feel the game feels differently, then that's your opinion. My opinion, where I've sat for hours upon hours upon hours, and even for the last few months, I've played nonstop of Titanfall, and I will relate this to the best game that probably can be is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It's exactly like that, except without Titans. It is that slow. You do not flow when you jump across the buildings. You do not boost and glide the way that you used to when you were in Titanfall 1. And when it comes to Titanfall 2, you feel like you are a soldier in boots on the ground like you do in Call of Duty. There is that big structure that they took out, and as I have said in pretty much every video, they gave us a shell and ripped out the core, and I am going to say that until day one. I'm still going to get the game, I still love the game, but it's not the same game that I fell in love with, and that is where it truly sucks. And my biggest problem for selling in general for Titanfall is the fact that they've just released the tech test. They're releasing the tech test 2 next weekend, but guess what's following the weekend right after that? They're releasing Battlefield 1 beta. And with that being said, they're crushing Titanfall 2 between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty, and with that, you're limiting this game because, one, you're having really bad issues. It's not even just the game in general. It's you couldn't play it with your friends very well. And if you're going to test like servers and all that stuff and let people play this game early, they want to play with their friends. Like, who does not want to go and shoot out with your friends when you're playing a beta or anything else like that? And
PlayStation people.
I guess that's
Wow,
kind of a
shots
straight-
fired.
I'm sorry, just the lonely
Got a
station,
point.
you know.
I guess, but regardless of the system you're on, you still want to play with your friends, and it's just you couldn't do that. And now they're going to bring out Battlefield when so far it doesn't seem like there's going to be many issues with Battlefield 1. It's just a beta for people to try. And I think that Titanfall 2 should have been delayed until next year with all the shooters that are coming out when you have Gears of War 4, when you have Call of Duty and Battlefield 1. They should have brought it out next year, even with these changes.
So now that we hated on there, sorry to cut you off there, SheWolf, but what did we like about the tech test? Let's go on to that, because I know we'll dwell on like what we hate about it a lot, but there was some really good things in there. Like I think the sliding mechanics, I think the grappling hook is really good. Like I said, I think the gunplay is really awesome. It's Infinity Ward, ex-Infinity Ward guys doing that kind of stuff, so that's going to play well. I think the hit detection was really good for being a tech test. Servers played well, like when you're in a game, like SheWolf said, like the multiplayer aspect, like getting with your friends and stuff was kind of awkward at times and not working, but when you were in a game, it did play pretty well. So what did everybody like about it that got to play it?
Well, let me just say this here, guys. Two things nobody brought up here about a couple of the negatives too. Did you notice that, one, obviously no burn cards, and two,
Yes, I did
you
notice.
couldn't default to your pistol. It was
Yes,
you had a
it's true.
Titan weapon, which I thought was retarded.
Oh my god, that pistol's
You
gonna piss me
unlock
off.
pistol at level 9.
Is that what
or
it
you
is?
can buy it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You have to
yeah.
like
Yeah, that-
unlock and
That bothered me.
In terms of liking, though, I really like the customer, or the customer, but the character creation models, like being able to tinker with your characters and stuff. I thought was kind of neat, and change out the loadouts a little bit. So that was kind of cool.
Agreed. Anyone else? Anything?
I like the way it looked. It looked nice graphically.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking on the graphics, that's one thing that I did enjoy. I really like the updated UI. It was really crisp. It was really heads up, intuitive. Lets you kind of keep a better track on what's going on around you. I liked that aspect of it. Whether you're getting a kill or your Titans coming in. One thing that GKB pointed out when we were looking at some of that play when they first launched it at Gamescom was the different shields that the Titans drop, whether it be red or blue, which kind of fucked me sometimes. You'd like sometimes I would like kill you, like run up inside that shield and it like drains your health, right? So those small additions were really nice, but it just felt like everybody, like a lot of, I don't know if everybody said it, but a lot of people have said that it felt slow.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
one thing I actually did really like though is the fact that the Titans actually have new like perk abilities instead of just like, you know, running through and just being simple Titans, whether, you know, you're smacking or whatever. Now they can actually do something.
Laser
I know we only
chest.
got- yeah, and
it-
there was like one that could throw oil on the ground and light it
Yeah.
on fire, and then
That's
of
cool.
course, you know, we will get the swords and all that too. So I thought that was really cool how they added that in.
Yeah, I like the laser chest for sure. And when it comes to like if it was slow or anything, it felt a little slow, but not as much as everybody's saying. For I guess for me, from what I've noticed, everybody's saying that it's really, really slow. I mean, it's a little slower, but it didn't bother me while I was playing. I was looking at other things that were bothering me more.
I think, like, relatively speaking, it's slower compared to, like, the other Titanfalls, but I think coming into I don't think by any means, like, if you're coming into this as a fresh player, never have played Titanfall before, I don't think you're going to come in and be like, damn, this game's just dragging. Because the action is still on a good pace. It's just compared to before, it just doesn't feel as crisp and almost chaotic, like,
Right.
in a sense.
I like the one fact that you can actually pull the battery out of the other Titans and put it in your own teammate's Titan.
To heal.
I thought that was cool, but I don't like the fact that you constantly got blown off though. Like, you know, you always had to like jump back on the Titan once you did something. That was the only thing I didn't like about that.
Yeah, it would be nice if they give you an option to stay on and keep like shooting at it or throw a grenade in there right after or jump off. But yeah, I mean that is a cool feature because it's something different.
Yeah, to be fair, like, you know, this was a tech test. This was apparently a June build, so, you know, they're probably much more ahead, and they probably will change stuff. I mean, and Vincent Pella, you know, tweeted out a picture of them, like, taking the feedback they got from this tech test and, you know, discussing it also.
You had that giant whiteboard, right, with all that stuff on it?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff on that list they got to work on.
So real quick, if anybody else has anything to say about Titanfall before we move on, go for it. Nope.
Well, I don't think I'm allowed. So.
Yeah, we'll be here for a while.
I did hear a lot of
Definitely gonna
complaints.
play again.
I did hear a lot of complaints from gamers about, I guess, the game style now, where it changed enough that lended itself more to campers, which is something you didn't see much of in the last.
That's
Anybody
the
else
map
kind of
style.
feel that way?
Well, yeah, that's because of the map
map.
style. They kind of stuck like buildings at each end, and then just kind of left like the middle weirdly, not open but open.
Oh yeah, the maps were okay. They weren't nothing special though. It didn't like blow my mind or anything.
Yeah.
I think it could have just done just a quick thing. I just think it could have been a bit better if they used like attrition and a couple different maps, not the game styles or the modes they chose and the maps they chose. I think they just kind of did that a little wrong.
Yeah. We're definitely going to play
agreed.
this weekend, so we're going to play it again. We'll probably give another impressions video about the tech test too. Hopefully we won't be so hard on it.
Because it is going to be different this
Yeah,
weekend.
for
There's going
sure.
to be some different game modes and stuff.
Yeah. Plus they said they're going to do a bunch of tweaks and everything too, so who knows.
Yeah.
It's time to drop a Titan. Let's just hope it's not a turd.
Wow.
Nice.
I love these, dude. I'm getting too used to this.
All right, so we're We're gonna go into the last game, and then we're gonna take questions from the viewers here and have some more good fun. So, last game I wanted to talk about tonight is one that I was kind of like meh when I first saw it, and that's because of I've played all these games, the older games, but the more I see of it, I'm actually liking it a lot more, and that is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yeah.
So, what did everyone think of the gameplay and the new trailers and all that stuff from Gamescom?
I've like a lot of people hated on the first person style like Resident Evil. Like I know that
I was one of those guys.
Yeah, I know. Like I know that you were kind of like on the fence about because you're like the classic like third person over the shoulder like Resident Evil style shooter, right? But this game looks creepy as shit. Like, and I know a lot of people on this panel are fans of like that survival type horror, like Outlast / Evil Within type game. I think this is going to lend itself a lot more to that. But Resident Evil has always done such a good job at painting this just like this unforsaken, like just impossibly survivable like landscape, right? So it's going to be interesting to see that in a third person because the games are always so intense. Like Resident Evil is an intense experience when you play through it. So playing through it in a first person view. Personally, I'm super excited for it. Like, I'm not like, I mean, whether you're a fan of VR or not, that game's gonna like, if anything, first-person games are the ones to put into a VR scenario.
That and horror games, like first-person horror.
Yeah, and just horror games in general. That really, the VR aspect really accentuates and supports that style of game to me. And if you could put yourself in a more immersive experience with VR, which this game's set to do, I'm not mad at that. And don't get me wrong, like I'm by no means like on the VR bandwagon at all. But with these type of games, that's where I can see it being its most useful. That's where I can see VR being most useful and having the biggest impact. Because that game looks fucking terrifying, playing that in a dark room with VR. Or let me scratch that real quick. Playing in your 60 square feet of space in VR. But aside from that, man, like I'm hyped for the game. I think it's gonna be awesome. I know it's getting a lot of hate, but I gotta rub against the grain every once in a while.
Well, I mean,
yo, grandma, you gotta pick up your tits because there ain't enough room in this floor.
Oh my gosh.
What the fuck?
Wow.
I don't even know what to say now. I lost my train of thought now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this game looks, I don't know if it looks different. I mean, that whole first-person view threw me off. I was like, what? This is not Resident Evil, right? So I was looking at the new stuff, and the game looks really good. But still, I'm thinking, this is not Resident Evil.
I know,
so,
that's what I was thinking.
But it looks really interesting. It looks fucking like scary.
Yeah.
I don't know like what's going on in the storyline, but it doesn't feel like zombies are around you. It feels like you're running away from a serial killer or something. And that whole tunnel vision view that you're getting, it freaks me out because I'm like, I don't like that. Right off the bat, I was like, no. But then I kind of read like what gives you tunnel vision, and it's kind of like you're having a panic attack kind of thing. So you're like running for your life, trying to survive. So it makes sense. So I'm like, okay, now I'm digging it again. So with this game, I'm kind of like, I guess I have mixed emotions about, but it's interesting regardless.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying before. Like, I was kind of really mad about it because I loved Resident Evil 4. I love that gameplay mechanic they did in there when they changed everything. It's one of my favorite, Resident Evil games out there. But yeah, like the more I see of it, I think it's getting more creepier and more crazy. It's almost got like that Outlast type of feel, like the creepy feel to it. Like something's chasing you and you gotta like watch out for everything. And I'm digging it for sure. I'm just worried like how it's gonna fit into the whole Resident Evil universe. Is this kind of like a complete departure from Resident Evil and they're just using it as a name to sell it, or is it actually gonna be part of that whole game series in general?
That looks like what it's gonna be. I mean, it doesn't have any. It doesn't. I didn't have any sense of like Umbrella Corps in there at all. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it's a step out from the Resident Evil that we know.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, man, like that's not always a bad thing. I mean, how old is the Resident Evil franchise? Yeah, I mean, how old is the Resident Evil franchise where we haven't seen a change in like the actual like the storyline? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Evil
to
Corporation infects area, save
right,
area. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I mean, and with Resident Evil has such a pedigree to it now, and such a strong following that I'm not mad at them trying something new. I mean, because we're a hard gamers are a hard group to please. You want new and innovative, but you don't want it to go too far away from what you know.
Yeah.
And trying to hit that like middle ground and to strike it rich and to make it to where it's a home run is an extremely difficult thing to do. So I don't know. Hats off to them because I think the game's going to be fun. If anything, it's going to be a fun experience.
Yeah. Did it look linear to you at all from the videos you saw?
I don't.
You only have one direction to go most of the time.
I don't know, man.
I mean, most Resident Evil games, they're very linear in their gameplay style, so I would expect the same of this, especially if it's like an Outlast type game. In that, yeah, I definitely see it's linear for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you can go into like a first-person like horror game. Like I don't even know if you want to call this a survival game, but that's just what I'm going to tag with it because that's what we've seen from these first-person horror type games.
Definitely.
But I mean, how much open world experience can you expect when the whole driving focus is the fear factor, right?
Yeah.
So they need to keep you in that confined space to kind of steer those, whether they're jump scares or situational situational fear, I guess you want to call it. Mm-hmm. They have to steer you into those directions. Now,
and that's go for it. Finish it.
Last thing I was going to say is like that part is part of the art form in itself is to be able to make it feel natural, but still steer your audience into those scary situations with make it feel like a linear experience.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say earlier that like for Capcom, like I just would have left the digit off the title and just call it Resident Evil and basically market it as a different type of experience. You know, that way for people that love the older style, they can have number 7 down the road and it doesn't have to ruin anything. It's like a reboot essentially.
Yeah. Well, and so the question that I have is the VR game completely separate from what you're going to be playing on a controller? Because whether or not it's linear versus, where you have more openness is going to depend on that. Because obviously the VR experience can be like, okay, go wander around this whole world. It's like, well then, how exactly do they let the player do that from the headset? Whereas if you have that as a separate experience where you go through this house in if you're doing the VR mode, but then you've got a big open world on controller and on your screen, that would make a bit more sense.
I think that incorporating the option that they were talking about, and when I say they, I'm talking about the PSVR part, is I think the best scenario would to be using your controller and being able to sit, just because you want that continuity of like what you're used to. In these transfer titles, like you can't go full blown one way or the other, right? You have to kind of give somebody a stepping stone. And I think the main selling point of putting this game into VR is having that immersive visual experience rather than the immersive movement as far as your hands or your feet are concerned. Having just that encompassing field of vision to where you feel like you're trapped inside that scary scenario, that's going to be the selling point to making this a VR functional game.
All right.
Cool. Any other stuff before we take some questions from the awesome viewers out there?
I would never play that shit on VR. Fuck that.
Oh, scary.
I'll be scared.
I can't close my eyes.
Good job, developers.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and get some questions going here. What do we got, SheWolf?
All right, so as we always do, we go to you guys in the chat, and we bring you guys into the show, in a way, I guess you could say, by answering your questions. And first, we're going to start off with one from Rob. It says, are you guys a bit disappointed that South Park, The Fractured Butthole, does not have co-op?
No, not really, because I played the first one solo. I enjoy it. I like that. I like the South Park game, the first one, and I'm totally gonna enjoy the second one for sure. I can't honestly like that type of game and just that South Park world, and they make it kind of like a season or an episode of South Park. I just want to put my headset on and just enjoy the hilariousness that is the South Park world.
I kind of agree. It's kind of like when you watch, because it's so much based on like the TV show. I don't really have to play it with somebody, because if you're trying to go through and say possibly, you're going with someone who's trying to look at other things, then you may lose some of the aspects of enjoying it like you would enjoy a South Park TV show. But that's my opinion.
I think that it should have had co-op. Everything should have co-op, multiplayer. No, I'm kidding. I think the game is gonna speak for itself. Like the story and everything is gonna be good just the way it is. I don't feel like it's missing something from what I've seen anyway in the trailers and the way that they showed some of the gameplay and described the new things that you could do in there. So yeah.
Though I do have to say, it would be kind of fun to like go through this game with your friends and like laugh at either getting fart in the face or whatever the heck Cartman decides to do to you or something. I could see that as actually being fun and enjoyable, just to like do that with your friends. But
yeah, I agree. It would be funny to see your friends getting hit by a sack of balls or something.
Yeah.
As much fun as I had in the original with the I can't remember the name of it. The first South Park, Stick of Truth. Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun watching people play it. Like, I mean, a couple of my buddies were just hanging out, watching each other play the game. It was just entertaining because South Park's funny as shit in the first place. And it kind of gives you that opportunity to kind of just sit back and enjoy what's going on in the game. There's not a lot of thinking to it. I think that's a big selling point for this series, because everybody looks to South Park as being an entertainment, not as much as an all-encompassing video game experience, but it's entertaining. And with that being said, though, I think that would just multiply that factor if you were able to play in a multiplayer environment, for you and your friends to actually be able to interact with each other in the game. I think that would be a whole nother level. But as it sits, I don't think not having multiplayer is going to hurt the fan base that they've developed.
I'll definitely watch you guys stream that one. I'll play it. Is GKB, you getting the Nautilus, whatever thing that shit is called, the Nautilus Rift?
Oh hell!
I think that was actually fake. I don't think that was actually real. I think that was just like a
marketing,
marketing publicity.
That was really good. That was really good.
If it was, I still wouldn't get it.
I want to see a Nautilus in a South Park episode.
Yeah, they probably will.
Oh
hell
my
yeah!
Hilarious.
Matt and Trey, it's up to you guys.
Alright, so we're going to jump into another question. We got one from Stick. It says, do you want a Scorpio exclusive games? Do you want a Scorpio exclusive games? There we go.
Well, I mean, the stance from Microsoft and Phil and all of them is you're going to be able to play any game on Scorpio or the Xbox. That being said, and I just used SheWolf's thing that I hate using, I think it's unreasonable to think at some point that games are only going to be on the Scorpio. That thing's going to have so much power when the developers start like really tapping into it. It's going to be hard to port those things down to the Xbox One OG. So,
with that being said, on the opposite side, I think that, what happened?
Go, bro.
I missed it too.
You're good.
I missed something. I'm sorry. Just the fact that the Scorpio is going to be so powerful is going to lend to growing this play anywhere movement that Microsoft's trying to incorporate into their games. There's going to be they're closing that gap closer and closer between PC and console, and I think that is kind of their main goal, considering some of the statements that people shout out media that have misconstrued the end of console generations, as we want to call it. Mm-hmm. That whole part there is, I think, the biggest selling factor between going from, if you want to call them Scorpio exclusives, to call them just Microsoft exclusive games.
Well, I can tell you this much. I want a Scorpio. I'm totally stoked about the darn thing, but I'm going to say this much. I don't want a watered down experience because it's meant to run, as best as it can on the Xbox One model. Like, I do want games that I want the developer to come out and say this game is not possible on your older console, because I want new experiences. I want graphics to pop and be like, yeah, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That's if I'm gonna pay $600 for a system, that's cool. I'm fine with paying the money, but it's got to wow me. I don't want something that's like, oh well, because you're gonna get every PlayStation fan and PC fan are gonna be ragging on the Xbox people. Oh, Scorpio just does upscaled games or just plays higher resolution. And, we're gonna get that crap all over again, and I don't want that.
Yeah, to piggyback on top of that, Newf too, is we saw that with going from the 360 to the Xbox One. Now they were still making games for the 360, and ours were suffering there. So we don't want to see that.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's going to be a weird thing here soon.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat where what I want and what I think we're gonna get are two different things, and that I would like to see kind of games be released the same way they are, whereas like this is an Xbox One game, but then there's maybe like an Xbox, there's maybe a Scorpio version that's obviously a little bit a bit beefier, and maybe it's just like one of those things where if you purchase it digitally, it's like if you're downloading this on your Scorpio, you're getting A, but if you're downloading it onto your Xbox One or your One S, you're getting this, something a little bit scaled down. But from a development standpoint, because the Scorpio is so much more powerful and it's such a different system, speaking of hardware, sorry to use the H word, it's going to be one of those things.
I got one for you.
Oh.
What? Did somebody say horny?
I just, we're getting there.
I'm already there, so.
What?
Oh my god, it's
hey, Fox, I think that's our cue to leave.
Bye, Felicia.
Hey, it's an H word.
But I just think just because they're so different, I just don't think we're going to see that. And it's going to be kind of an awkward time where people who have, people are going to have, I'm going to call them original Xbox Ones and like Slims, and they're going to be like, well, like I have this, like I like this, like maybe if they're people on original Xbox Ones who, don't have a 4K or an HDR monitor television, they're like, well, why are you kind of making me do this? And it's going to be an awkward time, and whether or not it's successful is going to really depend on, what the games are, and if the games are such that they're going to really make people want to upgrade. And the other thing that I don't believe anyone's brought up yet, that is the thing that I keep hearing people just out in general, like if I'm out at Best Buy talking to someone or elsewhere, even on the internet, the thing that always comes up is the price tag. Whether or not this is successful the first couple months is really going to depend on the price tag, because there's people like us who are going to pick it up, in a much wider range of price. But then there's other people where if it's more than 600 or 700, then they're just done, just on the price alone, no matter how good it is.
Are we still talking about exclusive games, or are we talking about the Scorpio in general now?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of all the same.
Thank you, SheWolf. Well, I think that was my fault. Yeah.
Everybody knows how I feel about exclusive games. I don't really think it's needed. But with that being said, I'm going to move on to another question, which there's just a couple of funny ones because I want to read them. Tim says, "What should I eat for lunch?"
Sushi.
Hey, Tim.
Sushi. With that yummy
Nuggets.
sauce.
Tim, nuggets. You love nuggets. I'm trying to help you out, bro.
Oh, nuggets.
Something like French fries.
French fries.
Another funny question is coming from Tommy Guns. Can I join the Console Corner Sea of Thieves crew? Of course you can.
Hell yeah.
Only if you bring
Over
their...
the brutal lady. I got all the rum over on that motherfucker.
Okay.
Tommy Gun. Hey,
he delivers.
What's your teammate?
You can come on for a short period of time, because I'm going to definitely make everybody walk the plank at some point. So.
Not me, bitch.
You do know, just you telling us that, we're all going to, what's that word?
Mutiny?
Backstab you.
Unity. No. Mutiny. Yeah, we're all going to mutiny. You're the word. I'm
Literally
like,
the exact opposite.
We are
to
all
the
going to, we're just going to tie you up. And
I'm gonna kill the shit out of you, GKB.
Bring it, bro. Bring it.
he pretty much he just put that name tag on him saying
I'm going to have a bunch of fish tanks on my ship.
See,
Here, guys, I got real quick. I got another $5 code dropping before the end of the show, so keep your eyes open.
Oh, watch out for that code.
Watch for it.
What I'm excited to hear from you is you can when you're playing Sea of Thieves, you can get drunk and then it makes your controls that kind of weird. What I want to hear from you is if you're drunk in real life and drunk in the game at the same time, do they
What'd you
count each
actually
other out?
notice?
Oh, dude,
Positive.
I'm gonna be doing that
That's a good
all
question.
day. Like, every
be
like
fun.
bottle that my character drinks, I'm drinking one too.
So then you even it out.
Whoa.
All right, so another question comes from Seth. He says, "What is your favorite What is your favorite couch co-op gaming memory?"
Oh wow.
Halo 2.
Oh yeah, Halo 2.
Just
Halo 1,
all
Halo
of
2
it.
is like, yeah.
I got mine.
Gears.
Gears.
Old school
Fucking
Madden.
fucking GoldenEye.
Oh,
was
Golden
my shit
back in the day,
back
man.
Yeah, man.
No,
like, that
is
was
he
my-
talking about like what game or just the memory in general? Because if
Like
it's a
one
memory in
specific game.
general, then I kind of have to say like we used to do these
I think it goes hand
Xbox
in
parties. What?
I think it goes hand in hand. Like, you're gonna.
I got one if we're talking about for just plain experiences. I got one. I'll tell it after everybody else.
That's kind of my like we have like these Xbox parties where we just like bring a whole bunch of people to the house and they like set up all their Xboxes all on like all the different TVs we have, and like
party.
everyone like pretty much plays like I guess you can call that couch co-op. It's not the
Yeah,
actual.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
all, yeah.
I mean, it's like essentially like any like LAN memory.
LAN party,
like
yeah.
we were, I remember I was sitting in GKB and SheWolf's like gaming room
Oh, God. This.
playing some fucking.
I know where you're going, bro.
What were we playing? Were we playing Halo?
Halo,
We
yeah.
played
Master
Call of
Chief
Duty.
Collection
Was it
came
Halo?
out.
Yeah, we were playing. Yeah, Master Chief Collection had just came out, and I'm sitting in there. We're playing Halo, and we're like, we've been drinking, and there are people that like booze are
shit-talking.
flowing, and and shit talking, like screaming across the house. And I remember fucking GKB's fucking bitch ass comes running in. Every time he gets a kill, runs in the room, just like flexing in my face. He's just like, he's not a bitch. That whole night was
Mind games,
fucking
bro.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
believe it.
fantastic.
That whole
I
night
believe
was
it.
really fun.
It was a fantastic night.
I'm surprised none of y'all brought up some of those shitty memories when you brought your friends over to play Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh.
I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I've done that a couple
I think
times.
that's just you.
No. I went over to my cousin's houses and stuff, and they would be playing that, getting drunk, and yeah, I've totally done that for sure. I'm sure there's pictures out there somewhere.
I know where there's videos of that.
Don't you even start, SheWolf.
I'm getting exclusives.
SheWolf, DM me those videos. Do we have any other questions? Because there's one question that Sub asked that I'm kind of interested in.
Agony.
Is it the one that? Yeah, if you want to read it, go for it.
Or are we not talking about Agony yet?
Touch on it because I want to save it for
Yeah,
the show.
I don't want to go too far into it either. But Sub asked, what do you guys think of the Agony trailer and gameplay?
Without talking about it, amazing. Wait for the next show. No.
Yeah, like I know we don't want to talk about it too much because we got stuff that we want to talk about on that game, but I think it looks that gameplay trailer is probably one of the creepiest trailers I've ever watched for a video game, and I'm really excited for it. That's right up my alley. I like that like gritty, like nasty, dark fucking video game style, and that looks absolutely fucking horrifying. So I'm all about it.
I don't know. I guess nobody else actually knows what it is.
No,
or-
I know what it is.
I haven't looked that much up on it, but I just ran a Google image search right now, and everything Brewtal just said is spot on. This
It is a creepy new horror style game, and definitely go Google the name if you haven't already. And again, wait for. I'm sure it's going to be in like one of the upcoming shows, and we will definitely be talking about this game.
It's awesome though. Cool.
With that being said, I do not believe there's any more
Mega had
questions.
one. Mega had one.
Where?
He said, "What is going to be the launch title for the Scorpio?"
I bet it's going to be.
Yeah,
No, I think it's going to be Halo 3 Anniversary.
Or Halo 6. Oh, no, sorry. No,
No, it won't be Halo 6. That's
It's going to be Forza Motorsports.
What's the question? Is it the launch title of Scorpio?
Yep.
Yeah, one of the launch titles.
Ooh, that's a
Forza Motorsports.
Do you think so though?
Yeah, it's going to be in that time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think that they're gonna launch it on a rehashed IP, or do you think they're gonna try to launch a fresh IP with it?
No, they're going to have
Well,
some of their
they kind of
first
tried
parties.
that with the Xbox One with doing Titanfall, though.
Yeah.
It came out a couple of months after that, didn't it?
Well,
Yeah, they came out after.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
If you think about it, look, like, you know, Turn 10 and all them guys, they really like develop the shit out of their games for like Xbox hardware.
True.
So I think that's going to be like their showcase, because it's going to be like, yo, 4K cars, 60 FPS, you know, rain, craziness going on.
You're right. They always push the power of the Xbox, whether it was in the 360 or now. Like, they always look beautiful as fuck. Like, they hit your eyeballs. But besides that, I hope it's Crackdown, though. Because where the fuck is that game?
See, I think that that's going to be a game that can showcase better photorealism, whether it's a God forbid it's a sports title like Madden or something. And the only reason I'm saying Madden is because that game always tends to try to push for more of a realism look.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but just because we're on the Scorpio topic, we actually have another one from Two Gamers who actually says, like, his question is, what's your fears and expectations for Project Scorpio? So that this could kind of tie into answering along the same lines if you want.
Price.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest fear, and I'm gonna put my guard up here for everybody for the backlash I'm about to get. I know that it's been confirmed that it's running 4K 60 native.
Not gonna happen on every game, man.
I can't see them hitting a good price point. You can't build a PC that's running 4K 60 native continuously all the time. Now, granted, these games are specifically designed and built to run in this exact environment, to this specific environment, so that's one thing that they have on their side, but there's so many different factors going into this that I don't think a lot of people are considering. One, like the production cost and keeping it within a reasonable price for people to be able to afford and for it to sell well. And two, I hope that the consumer base is ready to accept what Scorpio has to offer, if it is as powerful as everyone's saying it is and that it's been confirmed to be. Those are my two biggest fears. The consumer base isn't going to be completely ready, and it's going to result in bad reviews. And let's not deny this. Like, there are going to be people shit talking it because, nobody has 4K, nobody's ready for 4K, nobody's ready for 4K 60. Fuck you. Like, if you're able to offer that as a company, like, then go for it. Like, why the fuck not offer it if you have the opportunity to do it?
Yeah, but look, man, like, we talk about expectations all the time. Like, you have to, like, understand that it takes an amazing amount of horsepower from, like, a gaming rig to even, like, hit 4K 60 FPS. Like,
oh yeah, like how many conversations do you and I have alone, just like we were talking there, just like,
yeah. First party studios are probably going to be the ones that are going to do it. Third party is not going to put the time and effort into doing that, and especially if the other console isn't going to be able to do it. It's just not going to happen. So, like, just keep everybody's expectations in check, please.
Sound like my last video I just did.
I said this as well on Twitter the other day, and I mentioned it earlier. I don't want the companies making games to sacrifice the quality of game because they're trying to make
hit a resolution. Yeah.
But I'm quite okay. Like, if you even say, 60% of the games they run at 1080p, but they're 60 frames a second, and there's absolutely no compromises. I mean, the games are butter and they run as well as they should run.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us would be okay with that. Like we don't want this, the same disparity that's happened with the Xbox One and the PS4, which obviously gave it a sales edge because that's all we talked about. Resolution.
Yeah.
Every day that's what's coming up. We don't need that stuff with the Scorpio. We want the games to run well. So if it's an open world game, you want no draw distances. You want the characters to be smooth, the pop-ups. That's I think what we expect at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
GKB, you're absolutely right, man. It's like we'll get some great, amazing first-party games, but I won't see. I mean, you don't see a lot of third-party hitting 1080p 60 now on consoles. So what makes us think they're going to hit 4K 60 with a multi-plat?
Yeah.
It's going to get tailored down to like we said in our least common denominator. So we're stuck with that. So
I would like to see this debate and these questions being raised by I think a lot of people in the community. I'd like to see it push towards a less first-party exclusive environment that we see for video games. I think, and come and fucking attack me if you think that I'm wrong, but like exclusives, like exclusives aren't like the future, man. Like it doesn't bode well for the developers, and regardless if you like PlayStation or if you like Xbox, if you like Nintendo, if you like fucking jerking off with your phone, like no matter what you like doing, like the developers are the ones that are giving us the content. Like the developers are the ones that are building these experiences that we all look forward to, that we're fighting over these different consoles, whether you like PlayStation or not. Like in the end of it, it's up to the developer what they're producing, and it doesn't make any sense for developers to stay exclusive. Like we said it before, like when's the last exclusive that really benefited the developer, like i.e. Bungie or i.e. Naughty Dog.
Like sorry, I don't mean to cut in, guys, but we're hitting that 2-hour mark, and I want to go ahead and start like cutting it up here and get everybody's outros out of here and tell everybody what's going on. So any last minute things before we get out of here? Nothing. All right, cool.
Except for another code dropping, $5.
Another code
right now.
Get that code.
Get the code.
All right, cool.
There it is.
I would just like to say that I want to thank AsthMattic, SheWolf, Brutal, Lady Fox Fire. I want to thank Predator, GKB. I want to thank all you guys for just inviting me over on your cast tonight.
Yeah, man.
And I'll say this before I leave.
That if you guys really enjoyed Newf Nukem on the podcast, then there is a chance you will see the sequel. If not, you'll just have to watch the reruns. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys, without that wraps up the show. Really appreciate it, man. We had tons of people watching the show. We really, really, really appreciate that. We do this for you guys, so I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, I'm going to let these awesome people and gamers go ahead and shout out what they got going on. Starting off with our special guests. We'll go ahead and start with Newf. I mean, he kind of already did it, but I'll let him go again.
Well, like I said, I've already said my thank you again. Thanks, guys, for having me on the podcast. I hope to all the people that were in the chat that you enjoyed the show tonight. I think we covered a lot of great topics, and it was a lot of insightful conversations. I do have a link on my Twitter to my YouTube channel. It's not very popular yet, but maybe if I get a few more likes, I'll keep on going with my Spit Bits videos. And and I'm looking forward to another community night. I know I've missed the last 2 weeks because I was preoccupied, but I have a lot of fun playing games with these guys. They're awesome people. They're great podcasters. Make sure you rate, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And again, guys, to everybody, thanks for having me on your program.
Awesome. What about you, Predator? Oh, also, real quick, sorry, Predator, I didn't mean to cut you off. I also have the links to Predators and Newf's channel on the description, so please go check these guys out. They're awesome. Sorry, go ahead, Predator.
Sorry, man. Thanks for having me on again. Thought my mic was muted for a minute there. Thanks for having me on again, man. You got, like GKB said, I have a channel. The link's down there. It's called the Xbox After Party. I do videos about once a week. I'm on the Shop Podcast on Saturdays. I'm usually in everybody's chat. I also do a lot of Beam streaming now, so you guys can catch me. I was playing a little Ghost Recon the other day, so check me out anytime you guys get a chance.
Awesome. What about you, Brutal? What you got going on, bro?
Same old, just being a fucking drunk over here. But I'm really trying to get. I've been fucking having some problems with my Beam stream and stuff. But that's really like what I'm trying to put more focus into is streaming some stuff. And you can find me over at Beam at BrewtalKnight. With that being said, if you find yourself in this predicament where you do not have a capture card, SheWolf made a really, really good informative video on how to stream without having a capture card. So I hope you guys go and check that out. Shout out to Jay Williams.
It's not posted yet.
I was gonna say that. I was like,
is
is it even out?
posted? I'm sorry. Well, it's coming.
Coming soon.
Guys.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Exclusive insider view.
It's been delayed.
But
indefinitely.
Insider tips.
Yeah, but just I got to give a shout out to Jay Williams for my logo. Manny Tattoo Artist. I'm still waiting on my banner, you son of a bitch.
Wow.
That's not one way to get it.
But I love you though.
He's gonna make mine first now.
No, that's it. That's it, man.
Sweet.
Always a good show, and come play with me on Xbox Live, BrewtalKnight, and take care, guys. Thanks for coming out and watching us.
Sweet. What about you, AsthMattic? What you got going on, man? I know you're doing a bunch of community stuff.
Oh, dude, we're gonna be streaming some Titanfall, Titanfall 1, the Rego, on Thursday night. I'm starting off at 5 p.m. Pacific, just because like I find that later into the night, obviously, all you East Coasters are all going to bed, and I got to get started a little early over here to get as many people involved as possible. We did that last week with Battlefield, and it was a great time. So we're gonna be streaming Titanfall 1 on my YouTube channel, which is AsthMattic. About 5 o'clock Pacific. I'm probably gonna stream some of the Titanfall 2 tech demo over the weekend, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna be launching the Titanfall 2 giveaway as well on that Thursday night show. So we started Battlefield 1 last week. Check out on Twitter for that. Titanfall 2 giveaway starts this week.
Sweet, man. Good stuff. What about you, Fox?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us in the chat. You guys are awesome. If you guys didn't see the video yesterday, SheWolf and I did Ladies Night, so check that out after this. That's pretty cool. I had fun chatting about games with girls. You guys can follow me on Twitter. What else? On Twitch, me and Tim were streaming some Gears 3 Horde mode last night, so you guys can see that on Twitch. But if not, I will be posting that eventually to my YouTube channel, which I have 400 subscribers now, so thank you if you're following me on here.
What?
So that is pretty cool.
I only have like 50.
Everybody go out and sub to all these guys.
Subscribe to Predator as well. Yes.
Yeah, subscribe to everybody. Let's do this. Sweet.
Yeah, so thank you everybody who's following me and checks out the Twitter and stuff like that.
Cool. What about you, SheWolf? What's up? What's going on? Don't you have
first off,
game time to talk about or something?
well, yeah, I'll get to that. First,
Don't rush me.
well,
Lane.
yeah, this is my outro, not yours. Just a big, quick thanks to Jez and Manny for the codes that you guys were dropping. Brutal, definitely really appreciate all the codes you guys were dropping in YouTube. And next week we'll be dropping them in Beam. So if you want to get some free codes, it's going to be in Beam next week. With that being said, community game time is going to be Halo 5. It won the poll, and so it will be that game.
Fuck yeah!
What about Battlefield?
Didn't win.
It
Halo beat it out.
lost.
Because they didn't want to get smacked by me, that's why. I see how it is.
That's true. Well, you're gonna smack him in Halo anyway.
Oh, yeah, I can do that too. Oh, watch out, people.
Anyways, can I finish?
No.
Nah.
Everybody cutting me off tonight. Anyways, with that being said, Brutal already kind of spoiled it. I have my video dropping tomorrow about how to stream on Beam without
spoilers.
With a spoil, SheWolf, I'm your hype man. I'm the one that stands behind you, like, get you hype. I give the preview, and you deliver the.
He just stands behind you.
yeah, that sounds so wrong. Anyway, creepy. With that being said,
fucking everything I say is creepy.
You can find me on Twitter at xSHEWULFx. You can find me on Xbox at the exact same. You can find me on Xbox Nation tomorrow with Crap Gamer and all of them. And again, back here on Console Corner on Tuesdays. And of course, find me on Gamers Knows Best YouTube channel with GKB, where we do all different kinds of videos and reviews and so forth. And again, big...
Need a podcast just for this outro.
Actually, it wouldn't have been that long if everybody didn't, interrupt me.
Oh,
and plus, you were supposed to announce community game time before the outro, so...
Double!
And of course, don't forget, Saturday we have an awesome interview coming up with the Hue devs, so yeah.
Sweet. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to talk
Yeah,
games with
it's
some
gonna be
devs.
fucking awesome.
Cool. I guess I'm last to GKB, aka the Governor. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter on Gamers Knows Best. Gonna be on the Xbox Nation tomorrow. Yeah, Xbox Nation tomorrow with Crap and all the guys. It's gonna be fun. Shop podcast Saturday. Back on the Console Corner on Tuesday. The sexiest damn podcast Tuesday nights. Really appreciate everyone. You guys are awesome. Big shout out to Jay and all those graphic guys out there that help us out, make us all look good. You guys are awesome. Stay tuned for some more videos and some cool stuff. We'll see you next time. Later.
Cowboys.
Sexy.
Squall.